And we'll see when we
Yes,
actually
there
do
are.
it.
Switching to push to
Oh, we
talk.
should get her a dragon. That's what we should get her. She likes dragons.
She already
Anything
has so many
dragon, like,
dragons.
well, yes, anything statue related that is a dragon or a fairy, she will willingly take every time.
Yeah, she loves
So
those
a fairy
things.
on a dragon.
You could do a
Yes.
fairy on
Why
a
not
A
a
dragon.
dragon with each of her kids on it. What's up, Aurora?
Why not just a fairy dragon?
Orange?
It's a
Fairy
darn
dragon
shame.
could
We
work,
didn't,
yeah.
It's a darn shame we didn't say that earlier because my mom was just going back through our old childhood toys trying to decide which ones to get rid of, and one of the ones we apparently had was a pink dragon.
Aw, that's cute. If I knew you had that, what? Alright, looks like we
Should I
are
half
live.
the bacon?
Huh?
Should I half the bacon or
Sure.
keep it whole?
You can have it. Well, it's easier for you. Alright. Hello and welcome, dear patrons, to the Tables of Tartarus, a chapter of Purgatory Corner. I'm your storyteller, Sinspeaks, and today we shall be continuing the tale of shifting fates. Come on in, take a seat, and let your imagination run free. Alright, so last we left off, the fellows and friends and insanity that is abound of the group that we have. Let me go back to the world map here. View scene. You're definitely not pushed to talk, love, just so you're aware.
Yeah.
Anyways, so last thing that we explored with you guys is that Bill went on his own wonderful misadventures, which managed to get him something actually quite important. I don't remember if I had you roll for it. No, I didn't have you roll because it was obviously important shit. What did I have you roll for? I had you roll for whether or not you would get lost. That's right. I had you meet... Oh, what was her name?
I don't remember.
Oh.
Do you think I would remember? No, it's been 2 weeks.
Oh, it's gone. Honey, what's her name?
Serenity.
Serenity. That was it. Serenity's treasures or something.
Give me a sec.
Serenity's trinkets?
Serenity's trinkets. That was it. Serenity's trinkets. That was it.
I'd say I can't answer.
Okay. Anyway, so he found Serenity's trinkets, which is apparently a place for you to sell and trade magical artifacts or items, weapons of all around, pretty much anything, everything you can think of that could be sold or sold or gotten. She pretty much has. She mostly just wanted to make sure that whoever gets those new items are those who care for the new items. Is at least what I believe I had her say. And then you went and found Ellie's mother and her father's study, as well as copied down a bunch of shit, because you are not an intelligent bird, but you are a crafty fucking bird.
I'm a Kenku. We have abilities.
And so that's pretty much where you guys left off. I believe you guys all had a week to do whatever have you. I believe Oliver spent his week trying to craft up the health thing, the cure. Make sure that it actually worked on the people of many races and kinds. I think you had something else you wanted to do.
I also had proceeded to turn Ellie's frying pan into a radiant weapon.
Right, yeah, that one. Yeah, you turned it a radiant weapon. I believe you gave it another +1, if I recall correctly.
No, in order to upgrade it a second time, I had to erase the enhancement it already had. It gets to maintain that enhancement, but it does not get to stack it.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Considering the one I upgraded into had that same bonus.
Nice, okay. Well, that makes my job easier then. And then, Averin, I believe you spent a while talking with Tommy, figuring out where your mission was going to be taking you, as well as watching Ellie. And Ellie spent her entire time exploring the bar, helping out the bar, probably doing a little bit of medicine on folks, making sure that they actually, continue to live afterwards. Hi, Melody. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Make sure that people actually, continue to live afterwards. After a bar fight or falling drunkenly and bashing their head on the corner of a wall. Everything like that. And, so that's what you guys did for the past week. I believe you guys had stated that you were planning on going to Circadia in order to fulfill Averin's mission, as well as you guys were going to try to find what's his name? I'm in a stream, child. What? What's up? All right, never mind. Trying to find that's my kid. Don't worry. Trying to find Ezekiel's brother, because apparently he's an actually good person, and Ezekiel, as proven, is really not the guy you want to go to when asking how to stop a two armies from colliding, unless you are prepared to nuke them. But if you guys ever want that option, he is perfectly open to helping you. But yeah, so that's you guys' plan so far. You guys probably meet up back at the bar. Is probably been a long day for Ellie. Probably after the end of your shift, Averin's probably inside the bar itself. Let me pull up the bar once more for you guys. The Citadel is tavern activate. There you are. It's probably been a long day for you guys. Oliver, you have... Yes? She likes knocking on my door. On plus side, she's not trying to jimmy the lock anymore.
If you say she's gonna lockpick things,
Calling
oh
BS.
gosh.
She
Come on.
did. She lockpicked the goddamn door fucking yesterday when we were doing Monster Hunter. She straight up lockpicked the door, opened it, and ran into the goddamn room.
Sin, that wasn't yesterday.
Oh, was not?
No, yesterday we played some Monster Hunter. because
Right,
we
it was
needed to do stuff.
Tuesday.
That was Tuesday. Yeah, no, it's been a couple days, bro.
Night consists
Look, my
average
days have
Tuesday.
not been. My days have not been on top of. You know, I'm gonna stop talking. My days are days. Good lord.
I have to be a
Anyways,
college student and a parent and
a
DM
worker, yeah, and a DM.
and a worker.
Anyways, yeah. So you guys are back inside of probably Oliver's room. Oliver, you found out that your cure does seem to be working on the rats. You've so far, even though it's only been a week, so you're not entirely too sure of the long-term effects of your cure, but so far the short-term effects are that is significantly reducing the blue veins. They seem to be in less pain, and it seems like they are on a path to healing. At least the rats do.
So then the next question is, how do I monitor them for the future, considering I had to make this a full-on treatment fast?
I have no idea. Probably Faye has come to see you a couple times. It seems like her disease is steadily growing. It's not growing hyper super fast. To the best of your ability to tell, roll me a medicine check real quick. Oof.
Well, cried.
To the best of your knowledge, she could have anywhere between a week and 3 months.
Could Ellie help?
You know what? Yeah, you can help. Give me
Okay.
with advantage, Oliver.
Give me a
I'll
second.
roll again.
All right, 16 works. Definitely passed. You know, Ellie pointed out the fact that Ellie pointed out some kind of sciencey thingy for a person who's
That
injured.
okay, there's more veins over here. It could be this.
There you go. So she is.
Or you
helped
already
you...
noted that last time, so
there you go. That would work. So she would know the fact that you had gone over something you already had, so it wasn't a new symptom. So she has anywhere between probably a month and a half and 3 months to live, to the best of your estimates. This could change dramatically depending on outside influences, but she just continues at her current rate. It's anywhere between a month and a half and 3 months before she dies.
The question is, how much of that month and a half do I have to set up and give her that treatment?
You have no idea. So, yay. Deadlines. Yes, that's what you've been finding out as everyone's kind of meeting up in the room. Averin's probably... Averin, are you lounging on a couch? Are you in the shadows on the wall? Are you laying on the floor thinking about existence and trash?
I like the idea of me just like being in the shadows, staring at everyone for no apparent reason. It's like
She's just in the
is that
background.
and everyone's just like, is everyone plotting something? She being suspicious? And then you just like it zooms in on her. It's like, I wonder what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight.
Oh, that's glorious.
Staring menacingly. Pudding sounds really good right now.
Hey, at that rate, I'm honestly half expecting to just hear that she's just staring at like the vials of fluid element and just trying to decide if they're edible.
Oh, that looks very tasty. Everyone else staring at her. Is she planning to nuke us with those? Anyway, so yeah, Bill, that's what you walk into is Averin standing in the darkness of the corner, staring at several vials of potentially explosive liquids, which I believe you've had some experience staring at. Ellie, tired and kind of walking towards Oliver, pointing out something about Faye. Oliver looking over various notes and having a very concerned face. And you walk in with your papers.
Bill just gonna walk up. Sup?
Well, the treatment seems to be coming along. At the very least, it seems to be effective on the rats. Short term seems to be fine, but still need to run a couple more tests to make sure there's not going to be any real long term problems here. And from what I can tell from the current condition of Faye's marks, seems to me that she's got about a month and a half of time before, well, anywhere from a month and a half to about 3 months before this could potentially prove fatal. How much of that time am I have left to actually apply any treatments? I can't say, hey, I know all that, and I cannot say I have that answer quite yet.
Oh.
Well, as long as we keep track of our notes and everything, we should be good. And as for deadline, I have no idea, but we have 4 months till the war. And we possibly have a month and less to try to figure out a cure for Faye. For the sake of Rowena and everyone else around. Also, hi, Bill.
Hi.
Seems like
Your
you had
mom.
quite the adventure.
Your mom's nice.
You met Mom?
Uh-huh.
She's staring
She
as
said
well.
to hand this bread to you as Bill just pulls out a basket of bread.
Ellie will
Does
take the
in
bread.
fact have a very nicely written a piece of paper on the front of it that just in calligraphy just says Ellie.
Can I steal one of the breads?
Oh yeah.
How long have you been
Can
carrying?
Ellie slap her
Where have you
hand?
been storing
Only
that?
Only if
It's
you
like
notice.
staring perplexed.
I got that yesterday.
But where have you been storing that? Just
My
looking
bag?
over the basket.
I'm assuming he went on an adventure because it's quite the distance from here to Mom's. So,
Oh yeah.
and he came
I
back
also-
alive. So I'm guessing you didn't meet Father.
Averin, roll me sleight of
guess.
hand.
Yeah.
Who?
Rolling
Averin.
sleight of hand to steal bread. That's 26.
Far above your passive. Yeah, there's now one less piece in the basket.
Bill
It's just in the corner, slowly nodding.
That's
oh,
good
yeah, him.
bread.
I didn't come across him. However, his study was unguarded. I have
Did you
paper.
steal the bow? Oh, you have paper. Okay.
Just slapped down a stack of paper.
It's a pretty thick stack.
Lordy. Can I roll to see if I can understand his writing?
How did you
Sure, roll
store all
perception.
this?
I mean, it would be your dad's handwriting since Bill was just copying it.
Oh, true.
Can't
You've
give
never
you
seen his
specialty.
handwriting before, though, but it is fairly neat handwriting.
Kenku
But
never
yeah,
agreed.
roll me a
Isn't-
perception real quick.
When they try and copy e writing, it's usually a nearly perfect replication.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming it's done well.
You have never seen your
can
father's
kinda
handwriting before. However, he is a military general. You would have to roll real low
looks
to
like
not really be
Marina's.
able to understand it. But you also don't read, pretty much ever. So it was not as low as most other people's. But 14 is decent. You grew up in a forest with no books and no interaction with other people and very passing texts, pretty much
Excuse
just
you?
from Grumble.
He grew up in a bar.
Yes. Do you see
Around other
anyone
people.
bringing books to a bar except for fucking Ezekiel?
I literally stated last episode that a lot of the drunk doctors would show her journals and such.
And
That's
let's be
true.
real, she was able to read the madness in Oliver.
That's true.
There's
You
no-
you can read Doctor Scribbles. There you go. But yeah, you can read this fairly decently. It does take you a minute to kind of process some of it. But yeah, you are able to read most of it. Most of it is in a jargon that you have no earthly idea what it could mean. It is almost certainly a shit ton of army jargon. There's a word I was going to look for, but I don't remember what it was now. Military, that's it, military jargon. So like half of the texts makes no sense to you in any way, shape, or form. Hi, Piranha, nice to see you. But the parts that you can read is mostly about disease, some army formations, some time that people are planning. So essentially what you're reading, the parts that you can read more or less like this. In about, I believe it was 4 months we said? Yeah. In about 4 months or so, they're going to deploy their troops. They have around, I think I said about 6,000 strong. That'll be going to the orcs. And their intent, from what you can read, is to stomp the orcs, to leave not a single survivor remaining. As in your father's words, they are a plight that is destroying the idea of paradise for the rest of the races. They must be eradicated and destroyed, and they will do so with a holy vengeance. For Paylor, there is nothing that will stop them. They are also planning on bringing the Elder Paladin, and to your brain at least, this means Citadel's pretty much going to be unprotected. There, pretty much no one is going to be at the Citadel from the sounds of it. At least no military men. It looks like he is bringing his entire army to that battle. He is planning on ending it in about 4 months. And then you can also read that in order to end the battle, with the help of Oliver's disease, he actually labeled it Oliver's disease. With the help and addition of Oliver's disease, the tide of battle will turn sharply. They may have more numbers, but if they all get sick and die upcoming, we can last in a battle of Tuition?
Fruition. Or, no. What's the word? Crap.
Attrition.
Attrition, thank you. Yeah, we shall win in a battle of attrition. If they cannot... Oh, thank you. If they cannot outlast us, they will all die. His disease will be very effective and very potent. We just need to develop it for a little bit longer. That's effectively what you can gain from that.
Oliver. You need to read this now.
Um,
And you need to make sure Dad does not find out about your cure.
I already told him I was working on one, though.
Well, it's a good thing we're faking your death.
Let me take a look. Just holding out on a hand.
Non-experienced death is always a pretty good way to escape your problems.
Just in the corner, munching on some bread, staring at highly volatile liquids, and commenting about how death is a proper solution.
Does that mean Duck has to stab a friend?
Yeah, well, what I've heard about how war is true, we're not going to just get a genocide of a single species. We're likely to wind up with genocide of everyone. And just casually looking over at the page.
So does that
Mm.
mean I can stab him now? He doesn't seem like a very good person.
No, he doesn't.
That's what Robbie
Um,
just says. Like, I guess he's skimming the page. It's generally just. How to say this? It's pretty difficult to have enough resources for all of your soldiers, especially if it's what I'm reading here is correct that he's planning to send everyone. Which
And from
generally
what you
means
can
they'll have
tell,
to find those
Oliver,
provisions on the road. And when
and what you
soldiers
can
run
tell,
low on
Oliver, is
provisions,
also when he says he's developing the disease. From what you can tell from your thorough reading, he's developing it specifically to counter the orcs. From what you've seen so far, the disease does not really discriminate between races, which obviously would be a problem if he was to throw it to an entire army. So, based on that wording, he's trying to reform the disease for orcs specifically.
that's fair. But still. Generally speaking, when soldiers run out of resources, though, they'll wind up having to rely on other civilizations on the way to get more. And generally speaking, they don't pay for those in those regards. Generally, we wind up with a burned village.
Oh. That's bad, right?
above game, I just had a sad thought
Oh.
that about the whole resources and trying to test out the disease.
Mm-hmm.
Could there have been a chance, and I know you're not going to answer me flat out, that Dad destroyed Oliver's village? This has been just a long course, thought out plan that involved Oliver's village.
To Ellie's mind, if he did not know about it previously, to the best of your knowledge, so no. Yes. Oh, right. Hold on just a moment. She's bringing me food. Hold on.
Gosh.
In the middle of you answering your question, woman. Oh.
Just for that, I stole a bite.
Ooh,
Oh, that's really good. See you another. There you go. And your food back.
The child is very angry about not getting to watch. Okay, sorry about that. Put that back on. Alright, as I was saying, you, to the best of your knowledge, your father did not know about this disease before before Rowena had mentioned it. So it's very unlikely that he would have developed the disease that killed Oliver's entire town. Whoever put the disease into the Citadel in the first place is very likely the person who also destroyed Oliver's town based on the Order of Progress. However, it does seem, especially with Oliver's knowledge so far and how you've been looking over his stuff lately, that the disease was created not by nature. It was not a nature-based disease, to the best of your two knowledge. So it's very likely somebody did make it, and if your father was faking, not knowing about the disease, is in theory possible he could have been behind, or at least helping, to have destroyed Oliver's entire town. But so far, that's as much knowledge as you guys know.
My disease, he says. Why on earth would I have any desire of doing? And then he just put under his breath hath proceeding to carry on with mixing in another dosage of the treatment.
Well, he has to blame someone, and I guess why not blame a tiefling that generally people hate and don't trust?
Seems this is the welcome my fine and nearly everywhere I go to a new look. No crap, what am I trying to say?
Well,
Way more common. This is way more common than it probably should be.
fair enough, but he'll learn to hate us more, or at least me, because he doesn't even know me yet. So why not get him to hate me first?
What was that, everyone?
As like everyone just like leans over to like look at the papers. It's just like, seems complex. Fascinating.
So who are you trying to kill?
Hmm?
Who are you trying to kill?
Me?
Yeah. You know, this dark and spooky person who somehow got a hold of a piece of bread as he points at the bread. Sitting in a corner talking about people dying. Who are you here to kill? Isn't that obvious?
I'm not trying to kill anyone at the moment. I'm just eating bread.
True, but no one eats bread like that. They always dip it in something to make it nice and moist.
I don't see anything to dip it in.
Alcohol!
Points towards Bill. Not 100% true. Bread fresh from the oven and is wonderful while playing as well.
Are you
Bill
okay?
pulls out fucking a ball of beer and just starts dipping bread into it.
Have you ever, just like, looking back towards his nose, have you ever tried banana bread before? I think you would like it.
The heck's a banana?
This is gonna be a long evening.
Why would you turn it into bread? Is it like yeast? Is it a flour?
It's an additional ingredient you mix into the rest of the bread and making materials.
Oh.
Technically, it's a fruit.
Why would you put fruit into bread? That ruins bread.
Just wait until. Just waiting. You should have seen some of the festivals back home. I had folks there were folks back there that even mix pumpkin in there occasionally.
Huh.
Pumpkin bread. Good stuff.
Bill's gonna process that while I BRB real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to take a guess that he doesn't know what pumpkins are either.
Crap, that's a fair point.
He's just standing there looking so confused. But yeah,
This
so
is good bread, by the way.
no.
Yeah, next time you see her, tell your mother she's very good at this bread thing.
It's very good. This
Everyone's
bread
gonna
thing.
steal another piece of bread.
Oh my gosh.
Should I roll?
Ellie's gonna smack her hand.
Roll me another sleight of hand, and Ellie, roll me perception with advantage. I'll find it really
Oh, there's a
funny if she rolls
chance.
2 nat ones. Wow.
Yeah.
Almost
know,
missed it.
Well, to be fair, Everyone's not necessarily, you already see that, you've already seen that
Yeah.
Everyone's tried to steal the bread before, so,
She reaches over, tries to grab it,
Well-
you slap her hand.
I will let her know when I see her next. But you really shouldn't steal bread without asking. I already have one thief in my life. I don't need another.
Everyone just, playfully rolls her eyes and raises her hand and mocks her under, and it's like, sorry, it's in my nature.
Again, I've dealt with thieves before. Here, just a little baby. Nothing new I haven't experienced. Granted, usually, when it comes to stealing something edible of mine, I usually add a spice. You're lucky this isn't made by me.
I'm sorry.
Feels like such a
all
deja
kinds of
vu.
peppers.
Never mind, I guess it doesn't really apply since it was technically Bill that said it needed a condiment.
When anyone asks if they can steal bread. Hey bud, can I steal that from you? No. Gotcha. Alright. So, yeah, you guys now know that in about 4-ish months, he was planning on sending his entire army out, planning on infecting the entirety of the orc army, and then beating them to a pulp, and then waging a war of attrition on top of that. Although you have no idea what the Resistance is planning on doing this time, but you do know that they do have a plan, they said.
Whatever happened to the days when we could just talk out our differences? This is just saying, marking something down in his notes again.
Talk to enemies. Checkmark.
Honestly, agreed. Why can't we just drink it out, have a little punching fit, and go to sleep? I've seen many grown men duke it out over a fight and then cuddle each other afterwards and cry.
I wish it was only that simple, but it seems somebody here on both sides wants blood.
Alright. So where are you guys planning on going? What are you guys planning on doing?
Well, suppose while I'm waiting to see the results of the next one, and I probably should go and check in with Marigold. I do believe I did agree to assist with figuring out the makeup of Circuit. Assuming I have the lens by now.
That's a good question. You have not gone back to see Mrs. Claus yet.
Mrs. Claus?
Mm-hmm. But she is right next to where Marigold is, so.
That's fair.
Oh no!
What?
Hi. So Allie left for a bit and then came back.
Oh.
That was weird.
Ellie, don't abandon us. We need you.
Patchy connection is... Well, I've been having
I
that
assume
issue.
she went to her computer.
Oh, just trying to fix my connection.
Oh. Well,
I'm just
tell your
sitting here
connection to fuck off.
I'm just sitting here remembering when I had... Hashtag.
There we go.
So when I'm watching streams from Discord these days, if I wind up closing out of the stream, sometimes my PC freaks out and disconnects me from everything.
Ooh.
And then has to reconnect manually after a minute or two.
Oh, that's rough.
I still have no idea what the crap is with that, but...
See, what you gotta do is you gotta take your PC and you gotta burn it, and maybe you'll listen to you.
Oh, if only it were that easy. The only problem is, if I do that, I can't use the PC ever again.
Yeah, I can't really intimidate it if you need it, you know? Alright. So you guys plan on going down to Marigold / Mrs. Claus?
At the very least, that's what Oliver is going to suggest.
What about the rest of you, Ellie? If you're there.
I'm getting there. I just was trying to get food situated for Ruby.
Ah, you're good.
I was just about to suggest that too, that we should go to Marigold before we do anything else. That way we know what the Resistance is doing. So we can let anyone else we meet know what the plan is.
Smart. Alright. So you guys are gonna be heading down to... Where is... There we go. The upper... Lower city?
Before we leave, though, does anyone have any need of a particular type of fluid? Just looking over towards this jar.
Could do
We probably have a good
acid.
amount. We should probably stock up on potions. Like,
Oh yeah, can you make healing potions with that, actually?
Technically, no. I believe the alchemical jar just produces mundane fluids. I'm gonna have to pull that item now.
well, we might need disguise potions for Cataclysm.
Mm.
Disguise ourselves as it works.
I'm gonna need to work on those manually, but I could just as easily make a couple of elixirs for that.
Nice, nice. I got a
They'll only
jar
last
of
about
water.
They'll only last about 10 minutes, but... How the heck do I not have this item in my inventory? Okay, screw it. I'm just looking up what this thing does manually. Or what kind of item this creates manually.
Good. The group is deciding that going to Marigold / Mrs. Claus to get all of you guys' special stuff and to talk to Marigold about her plans is currently the best option. And Oliver asked if anyone needed a specific kind of liquid that he could make from his alchemical jar.
Well,
Bill
I know
raises his
I would
hand.
love a specific. I know I would love any liquids that you provide. Perhaps something for disguise, as you said, or perhaps invisibility, or
Just looks over you. I have a chameleon's cream if that helps. Just holds
Ooh.
out
Only
a
if you're not
potion.
going to use it against the team or to cause us any trouble to stopping the war.
Hmm? Oh no, I would never. I've already told you I am very anti-war.
I'm inciting her so fast.
You keep asking me. You keep. Goodness, a ye of little faith.
Feel free to roll that insight check if you wish to.
We had a previous member not be the greatest help, so
Feel free to roll that,
anyone
that
new,
insight.
might as well check.
Am I rolling deception against that?
Are
So-
you actively planning on betraying?
You know what?
You would not even be able to. You would not even be able to get
I
lower than that
blame
if
the
you tried.
fact that I'm distracted with Ruby.
She's very distracted. But yeah, unless you're actively planning on using the invisibility potion to hinder the party or to do something that would make it harder for them with the war, you don't need to do a deception check because you're not deceiving them.
It's less that I'm actively planning to betray them and more, whatever happens, happens. Just in case.
You know
Could
what?
use
Feel
that
free to roll
for
that
the
deception
party.
check. Let me see those big numbers.
Could use that for the team. Could use that for, against other people. Just in case. That's a 28.
While they're two talking about that, Bill's just gonna look at Oliver, dead faced. Can I get some napalm?
Always you with the alcohol.
It's not alcohol. Napalm is not alcoholic.
Oh, fair.
It's not.
It just
Not
makes it to
certain
where
how-
I could burn stuff on water if need be.
Good lord.
not certain it
A
really
gelling
has the
agent in the
material
volatile petrochemical.
Let me quickly pull up my notes. I was able to find a collection of fluids to make that thing produce acid, most basic forms of poison, beer, honey, mayonnaise, oil, vinegar, fresh water, and salt water, and wine. You can take your pick from any of those. Just have a hand across the surface and call out what you want. You can only do it once a day, unfortunately.
I'll take some poison.
Why do you need poison?
Okay,
Just in case.
let me quickly look up how much that supplied. Half an ounce. It literally supplied half an ounce of poison.
You get half an ounce of poison just inside of a tiny jar. Just doot. Poison.
Mm.
I honestly have no idea what those stats would be, but we'll figure that out.
Theoretically, she should get to define a basic poison. I would wager you'd be able to come up with something like a mild venom or some sort of insect sting or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I could always slip it inside of a drink. Some alcohol, perhaps.
Oh, gosh.
Don't you dare
I
touch
don't-
the
I don't think-
sacredness.
I'm just going to say it right now. As a basic poison, I doubt that this one would be lethal, but you might be able to cause some level of inflammation of some sort like that, or swelling. No, swelling would be a better word.
I see.
That's just my assumption, though. It's not very descriptive as to what basic poison really
Labyrinth?
means.
Remind me again why you joined this group.
Convenience. And also because I'm very anti-war.
Are you very anti-war?
Extremely.
Bill's is going to insight check that one. It's just like, she's asking for poison. I'm asking for napalm. I don't really care about war, but I'm gonna see if she does. I rolled an 11. That's not gonna be very hard to beat. Have fun.
Hey, look, she also.
Oh, can't doubt this person.
Yeah, I have missions, some jobs, and also the war,
Do your
which
jobs
I am
make
very
money?
against.
Okay.
You know, she seems kind of against the war. It might be a fact she keeps saying it, but something about it is really, really convincing you. She's really against this war.
And Bill's
Why do you
eyes
need to
just
go
go
to
up.
Circadia?
I have a job. I feel like I've told you about this.
Does the job require money?
No. Some talking to people.
But then why did you... Does it get you an instrument? Do you get a shiny object?
I suppose while we're here working on this, does anyone need an elixir as well?
Nope, just the napalm.
Likely some healing potions, because based on our battle against the mother and father, I'm pretty sure the war will be a lot worse.
Where's the sun?
I can get you some healing elixirs, but again, they only have a shelf life of a day.
Why not just... What's the word? What's the spell?
Are you talking about cure wounds or
No,
healing
gentle
word?
repose.
I'm not familiar with that one, I'm afraid. Above game, what level is that spell?
Which
Low
spell?
level. Gentle repose.
Oh, gentle repose. Yeah.
I don't think it's a high level spell.
No,
Remember, Ollie's
it's second level
half-caster.
necromancy.
Ollie
You touch a
cannot get that
corpse.
spell.
You touch a corpse or other remains for a duration. The target is protected from decay and can't become undead.
Ollie cannot get that
Ezekiel
spell.
can get that spell.
Yep, only a cleric and a wizard can get that spell.
Oh. Well, rip.
Ezekiel did say that he's part everything possible, so he probably could do this spell.
Yeah. A lot of dangers lies within spells of necromantic wizard portions. Cool.
Nonetheless,
so
we should
just
get going to Marigold here soon.
Was
Just
that
so
Oliver?
it's out there. Just so it's out there, Kirsten, for the poison status condition. Just so it's out there, that doesn't actually afflict. The poison condition doesn't actually afflict damage. It basically just gives them flu symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure you're aware.
Inconvenient. I was hoping for something more fatal.
How do you want to kill people? Says
Just
the
in
guy who
case.
actively... his first option is stab him to death.
No, his first action is burn them to death. His second action is to stab them to death.
To be fair,
I mean, alcohol is pretty effective on killing people that I've seen. But what I've heard from some doctors is there's a lot of plants that are pretty effective too, like lilies of the valleys are very poisonous, despite how pretty they are.
Okay,
I'll
so
keep
so
that
far-
in mind.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
far I've gotten 2 requests for things for the jar to create. Again, it only is able to create one of those particular orders per day. We're gonna
interesting.
need an agreement between the two of you as to which one it's going to be.
Rock, paper, scissors.
That's a good one. You both would roll 1d3.
1d3.
You just type in /r space 1d3.
Am I correct in the assumption that for the sake of this, 1 beats a 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I do this?
Okay, well, guess we're making. I guess she gets to make poison.
Sweet.
Does a 1 beat a 3? Yes. 1, 3.
So
That
the
was
question is,
beautiful.
how much would half an ounce of poison be enough to apply to?
You could probably slip into a drink, or food. You could slather onto the very tip of your blade and gut someone with it.
I'm assuming that applying this poison to a weapon is also going to be a bonus action.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And then it'll stay on that, depending on the poison. That poison specifically will stay on that weapon until either it gets wiped off or it gets stabbed into somebody. Yep.
Slick.
Yeah.
So he is going to put the jar in front of you and wait for you to give the jar the instruction. And I assume you told it the poison.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice.
He'll pour it out
Alright.
onto a vial for you and give it to you.
Many thanks.
There you go.
So you will get
Cool.
to obtain a vial of basic poison.
Poison. Alright. So, now you guys have done that, I assume your next goal is Mrs. Claus?
Assumedly. Assuming
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
have enough time to make an elixir. Though probably not, considering we did make the comment that we would be nice to have a little extra healing.
Well, you kind of do healing or you can do an elixir.
Well, I mean, my elixirs are my healing,
Oh, true.
or can be used to heal.
Mhm.
They're basically just health potions with a shelf life of a day.
Ah, okay. Cool. Well, in that case, you guys will start heading on your way, probably waving to Tommy as you guys leave, and you guys will be heading down to the village. There you go. With the orc. So you guys once again are down here near the village. Toothy and Dick are once again at the entrance. You do hear some rummaging, or more accurately, see some rummaging going on by Mrs. Claus inside of this house. The house is more or less shaking every now and again. But yeah, and but you guys see Dick and Toothy as they're just essentially standing guard, just kind of staring ways. Dick kind of gives a small wave to you. Toothy looks to be asleep.
Mm.
I'm going to poke her nose.
Bill, I think that's the one that's more likely to cut your beak off.
No, let him do it. I'm interested.
You can try.
You poke her nose and she slowly opens her eyes and stares directly into yours, slowly reaching for the baseball bat next to her.
Bill just
Well-
slowly puts his hand. Hi.
Hello.
Bill, I don't think that's how you greet people, nor do I think that's flirting, though I've seen worse at a bar.
I got this. Bill just hands her a beer and keeps walking.
Let's be real, palatable. The fact that when he asked I'm just flashing back to the fact that he asked the jar in the past to make alcohol for him. And I think it totaled up to like 12 gallons of the stuff, so...
Something like that. But you
See, here's the
you give Toothy
4
the
gallons.
bottle
Dang
of
it.
beer, and she looks at it for a second, looks at you as you just start walking away, pops off the top with her tooth, and just chugs the entire fucking thing and throws it down the pit before laying back down.
I just imagine Ollie just watches it fly over, just like, oh, that could have been so useful.
that beer.
That
It was gonna be a
bottle,
Molotov.
the bottle, specifically.
Oh.
You do hear a faint as the bottle fucking explodes against the wall.
Just winces when he hears that.
Gosh. Everyone just like walks past and just looking at everything. It's like, all right then.
Dick just kind of looks at you guys as you walk past Toothy's it's more or less sleeping body, and it's just like, no, you're here to see Marigold.
Indeed,
Yes,
but we had another
she's
task.
available.
I had another quick task I wanted to take care of in the area first, but yes, that was in fact my intention.
He kind of like grabs Toothy's like scruff of her shirt, lifts her up like she's a goddamn like toy, and puts her next to him. You may go on.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Have
He
a good
resumes his normal stance.
day. Have a good day, I think it is. Just like shrugging because he probably hasn't seen the sun in days.
He just shrugs in response.
Wow.
So-
Anyway, I'm actually going to go check in with Mrs. Claus first.
Okie dokie. So you head out to
Considering,
Mrs.
again,
Claus and you open up the door, and the first thing you see is that there is fucking batter everywhere. Like there is like all kinds of cookie batter, cake batter, brownie batter, all kinds of cupcake batter just flown everywhere as she is just vigorously and almost angrily just slapping a whisk into a oversized bowl of what looks to be more batter. She's like, yeah, come on. Oh, you're gonna fight me, aren't you? Yeah.
I'm just going to,
The
while looking through,
pumpkin.
just like knock on the opened door.
Huh? Oh, hello there. Sorry.
Hi, sorry, am I interrupting something?
No, I just mixed a couple of things into this batter that, have a little bit of difficulty. You see the batter start to, like, go upwards, and at first you think it's like, the batter, for some reason, is rising like dough, and until it opens its mouth.
Mimic stuff.
Is that a mimic?
Parts of it, yes. Punch! But don't worry, dear. It's perfectly safe. Once I get it to stop fighting me, I shove it into the oven. It'll be delicious. Punch! Almost done though. What do you need, dear?
I believe you wanted me to pop back in after a certain amount of time, or after preparations up in your husband's city. I still can't quite understand.
Oh right, my husband was going to get you all gifts, wasn't he?
Is that what that was all about?
I believe so. You asked the Jack in the Box for some gifts.
That's a really unusual contraption for that, but okay.
It holds messages for him, and then when he returns back to his shop, he reads the messages and makes toys for all boys and girls.
So is the project finished yet, or?
Yes, he's made all of your guys' tools and I believe he called them toys, but he had them. He put them in this cabinet. She like reaches down and with like 2 fingers pulls out a very small cabinet that's like probably the size of your head, and opens it up. I don't quite remember what you all wanted. I know you wanted a pearl thing. It was like that glass, if I remember correctly.
Technically, the term he used was an evoker's lens, which
Oh,
yes, it was
yeah.
meant to be a substitute for the 100 gold pearl you need to cast identify.
Yeah, and then Ellie, I don't remember what your one was.
We talked about it.
It was something to
Out
do
of
with the
game?
the sending stones.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh god!
I told the
those are
Jack in
good.
the Box to surprise me,
yeah. So
but we talked about sending stones. That way
Bill, I
can
think you had
send
something as
messages.
well. I don't remember what it was.
I don't either. Probably
no.
a dagger or a knife or something stupid. I legitimately don't know.
Fair enough. I'll figure it out at some point. And for now, it's going to be a mystery insert item here.
Fair enough.
Yeah. If you want, find a magic item. Otherwise, I won't find one probably tomorrow. But yeah, if you want, find one. Make it funny.
You know what would actually be a really hilarious item for Bill to have?
What's
A
that?
bag of holding.
Oh! I was gonna do that. Oh my god, yes. Oh, I remember now. It was a very specific one. It was actually a very, very specific bag of holding I was gonna give him. Just because I found it
Don't
really, really funny.
Don't tell me you giving him a bag of devouring.
No, I'm not that mean. I'm very
Is it a
mean,
bag
but
of
I'm not that mean.
Is it a bag of tricks?
No, it's Santa's bag of holding.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so it's The richest, softest, silkiest, velvetiest bag you've ever seen. It's probably bigger on the inside. A glittery, sparkling rope cinches the top closed. When opened for the first time, the player must roll a d20. I will tell you what happens when it does. Otherwise, it is a simple, mundane bag of holding. So
I open the bag.
Like a
you know
giant
what? Fair
sleeping
enough. Feel free to roll me a d20.
You told me something random happens. I have to open this bag.
Oh no.
All right. What is going to happen is as you go open the bag, probably after he is brought over to you, you see. Roll me a wisdom save real quick.
Oh no.
You look into the bag and you are honestly confused because unlike most people who look into bags of holding, they don't have your non-sensibility levels of what the fuck. And so you look into the bag and you stare into the bag and you see into the bag and you see some sparklies, you see some fun stuffs. You're fairly certain that you see multiple planes of dimensions and you're honestly not entirely sure what you're seeing, but there is some holly jolly stuff in there. It's very white and sparkly inside of there. I would deeply suggest you not continue looking in there, but you're welcome to continue looking in there if you wish.
You're not stopping, Bill. He's just gonna shove his head into the bag and take random moments of breaths and then just looking back in the bag.
Oh
It's
no.
bit by a random mimic chair that's inside the bag.
Yeah. Wow, that was very even right there. As you keep sticking your head in there, it keeps like you keep sticking your head in there and it keeps going like stark white. And what's really weird is you haven't seen bags of holding before, considering you've mostly been drunk 90% of your life. Well, half your life, I should say. But you haven't seen bags of holding before. This just looks like an interdimensional bag of insanity, where you're just like sticking your head in. However, it's not normal, and Oliver can definitely attest to this. As you pull your head out, you have like snow covering your head, and every time you go back in, the snow pretty much dissolves and then pops back on your head as you pull it back out until you shake it off. From what Oliver can see, you don't seem to be going into a regular bag of holding. You're also kind of cold every time you put your head in there. So it does seem fancy, it does seem interesting. You also see something extremely shiny.
Shiny! I'm grabbing it.
Roll me a d20.
Okay.
Just so it's out there, Sin. When you place an arm into a bag of holding and think about the item in question, it will just appear in your hand.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, so thankfully you're not grabbing anything dangerous. But the very first thing you see, we're going to go with You know what? I will go with this one because I'm legitimately curious on how you will utilize this. As you pull out, you see you pull out as it's a rod. It's like a very nice rod. It has a horse bull-like headpiece made entirely out of what looks to be a silver metal. This is a immovable rod which you just pulled out of this bag.
Oh gosh!
I have gained rod.
What?
This is a
Basically,
rod that is able to withstand up to 8,000 pounds of pressure. Unless so if you press the button, it will stay there unless you apply 8,000 pounds of pressure to it.
Basically, think about it as a potential way of just pinning down an object you don't want somebody else to interact with. Like the Necronomicon owned by a necromancer. He can't open the book when the cover is perpetually held closed by an immovable rod.
Yep. And it has a button on it, and the button makes it movable, and then the button makes it removable. So,
Specifically, only if the person who made it immovable presses that button again.
yeah. So I'm
Nobody
I'm
else,
very
nobody else can
curious
trigger
on
that.
how you'll be able to use that. But apparently, Santa just thought it'd be really funny to give you a stick.
I've got a stick.
You wanted something shiny, so it gave you something shiny.
I got a shiny object. Wait, that means I can put my entire bag in here. I can have more booze.
Oh gosh.
Concern.
Such a useful little item, huh?
Okay, Sin, so keep this in mind.
Uh-huh.
In this bag of holding, you notice Bill look at it for a second, and you notice him take all the booze out of his bag, put the Molotov pits at the top of them, close them up, and put them in his bag of holding. But he doesn't put all of his bag. He only puts the Molotovs in.
Hold on.
Okay. Just shove bottle. You just see Bill grab a bottle out of his bag, shove it in. You just keep repeating the process of grab a bottle, put it in, grab a bottle, put it in, grab a bottle, put it in. And on top of that, she had given Oliver his special lens, which she was very careful to give him because it would fit in basically the center of her palm, about the same length as her pinky finger's last knuckle is about the same length. She's a very big person, but so she very carefully gives Oliver it, as well as 2 stones, and she says to him, "This is for your friend Ellie. She said she wanted something to help her with the war, and my husband wasn't really sure how he could do that. I mean, technically, he could make something that would end the war, but I don't think she wants unnecessary bloodshed, and neither does he."
Fair enough. I'll
Nothing.
be sure to try to drop them off with her. Thank you.
Mhm.
Looks around the room one last time. Are you certain you don't want any assistance?
Oh, it's fine. You see her grab what looks to be like a butcher's knife and slam it into the bowl of dough. Yeah.
I'll leave you to get back to it. Sorry for bothering you.
Oh, you're fine, dear. Come again anytime. Feel free to let me know when you're ready to go places. Stab, 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 stab. I'm always happy to entertain people. Stab.
Will do. Just stepping out of the room, trying his hardest to hold a straight face.
All right, boy. Let's go for round 2. You just hear dunk dunk. And it's like, it sounds like she just beat it into the table.
Hey Ellie, Mrs. Claus asked me to give you these. I'm going to hand her the sending stones.
Nice.
Before Ellie's gonna take the stones. Like, oh, I'm assuming these are like what I had for Shar. It must be. It looks like it. So this will work great.
She didn't really get very descriptive. Just simply said that this was their idea for a potential means of assisting with stopping the war. Can't say I have too much of an idea of what it goes beyond that, but something tells me that those aren't ordinary stones with that in mind.
Yeah, these look like the. This looks like the same stones that I had with Shar talking to her. It's just a simple black stone.
This
So you
one's
talk to a
actually
stone
gray.
and then. Okay, fine. Either way, it's a stone
Slightly
that I can
different,
talk
but yeah.
to, and the other person can talk to me too.
Oh, I suppose with all that's...
Ellie's gonna turn toward Bill and just say, "It's like, just so you know, with my experience with alcohol, you really shouldn't put alcohol in a cold place for too long, or else it'll explode."
What?
Good.
Just wanted to let you know.
Takes a step back from Bill.
Anyway,
how about we don't
that's what I
kill
wanted to look up.
people? You know? All right, cool. So I'm assuming you start heading towards Marigold.
Yep.
All right, cool. So you walk up to Marigold, and you probably open up the door and whatnot. And she's just kind of sitting in her chair that is mysteriously like. So you open the door, and the inside of it is a very barren kind of household. Basically, there is a single chair facing the door that she's currently sitting in, with a small table in front of her. And there's very little else that's actually inside the area. There's a small shelf which looks to have like some papers on it, but she's just kind of staring at you, and she's like, "Welcome."
Hello. I believe you wanted our assistance with something.
Yes, I believe I wanted you to, because you are a potion maker, to figure out the compositions of Circuit. She reaches into one of the drawers of the desk and pulls out a syringe with a very weird purpley colored, almost galaxy-like glitter and stuff inside of it, fluid.
Looks dubious.
Exceptionally. It ends about as well if you take it as it looks.
I'm not surprised. I just got my evoker's lens replaced, so I should be able to examine its current properties reasonably well. Let me quickly bring a couple of my regens back together, and I can make a quick examination, or run a quick examination on it.
She'll nod, and she looks at Ellie. And you?
I have a few things to talk to you about, actually.
You're
wanted
part of our
to get an
organization, so we're
idea-
all ears.
I wanted to get an idea of what the Resistance is planning to do with the war.
We're
That's
not planning
happening
to do
in 4
anything with
months.
the war. The war is not our
outside
fight.
of the war.
Alright. We are planning to take
What's
over the
your
citadel.
guys's...
As you very likely know, the war is going to consist of this big-ass army throwing themselves at the other big-ass army, and probably half the people on each side dying before both sides come back miraculously again, as they have for the last 200-something years. It's a very boring fight, it's a very consistent fight, and it's a fight that has no purpose aside from making us lose our families over and over and over again. And all who dare to oppose the citadel are thrown down here. She is a very, very hefty sigh at that.
Just
Yeah.
midway.
That's how I'm feeling about the war, too, is that... What's the point of going to war and killing off people just for your own pride? And those people never get to return home.
What was that,
And they're
Oliver?
forced to fight a war for someone else.
Heard it said and a billion times before. Generally speaking, when it comes to a war, it is the act of a huge mass of individuals, trained or not, to fight, being told that they're going to go and fight for the protection of their own civilization, before simply going to die and murder in the name of someone that is 5 times as bloodthirsty as they are. Minimum.
Indeed. She raises up her shirt. She wears a very standard outfit for the most part. Probably some leather-based pants, as well as a basically a t-shirt of sorts, and a jacket that mimics a lot of other fancy style clothing. But she raises up her right sleeve, and you can see that directly on her bicep is a true mark. She is a
That's
full-blooded
promiscuous.
Hmm?
To her raising her shirt, Bill just says, that's promiscuous.
She kind of like halts in like raising her shirt. She's just like, he knows that word?
Actually, that's
Apparently.
right. Actually, that's right. That's probably the smartest thing Bill's ever said.
Everyone just like lightly claps. It's like, good job, you learned a new word.
How dumb do you think I am?
I mean, you couldn't even remember where you came from when we met, so
Also, you don't know what
just saying.
bananas are.
The heck's a banana? You didn't explain it.
It's a yellow fruit that grows in tropical locations. Fairly
Oh.
popular, all things considered. Very long, very thick peel. Peel itself is not very tasty. Fruit inside, on the other hand.
I see. Oh, so I know words. I just don't know places and certain things.
Mm.
You find someone else who can speak the weird language I speak when I'm drunk.
Actually, we did have someone that was able to identify the language.
Yeah,
True.
Ezekiel could identify it, although so far you have not met anyone who can speak it. To the best of your knowledge. Anyways, she like shakes her head a little bit at the absolute confusion while staring at you guys before going all the way up to her bicep. And Ellie, you can see the true mark on her bicep, which marks her as essentially someone who should not be down in the slums. And she says, I was born up above in the Citadel. I was born as one of the higher class, born in the military regions, born to one of the current members of the Citadel. She lowers her shirt. Back then, I felt that it was important to give all kinds of people a safe place to be. Somewhere that we won't have to die in order to survive. A place where one race was not subservient to another. Because I thought that the war was stupid, and I thought that a better way to approach it was either peace or our own eradication. They believed that I was incorrect, that I was wrong, that it was heresy, treason. And they decided that the best place for me to be was with the other heretics, the other insane people, the other monster lovers, and the other rat-infested, hellhole-bearing, stupid folk that are down here, drugged up and hell-ridden. So I was shoved down here, and I was removed off the records. I no longer exist above. And I wish to change that. I wish to make it very clear, very simply mentioned, that I will be taking my rightful place up above and reforming things. As you know, they are going to be throwing as much as they can, as they often do during these wars against the other side. We're going to take that opportunity. We're going to take that skeleton crew that they're going to leave back. We're going to stomp on every single one who remains. And we're going to decapitate Amar and every single Citadel council member. And we're going to take it back.
Mass murder with mass murder. Or just mutters under his breath. Though slightly less mass murder, but still.
Question: Is Ellie's mom one of the council people, or is she just there?
She kind of looks at you in slight confusion. Who is her mother?
Ellie's going to unravel her bandana
Mm-hmm.
and show her mark.
Oh, you're his daughter.
Well, my apparent dad, I guess. I haven't met him yet. I don't like him already, but I haven't met him. Is trying to be a council member. Right now, he's just a military chief. General thing. Big,
Your
scary elf
father
guy.
is Amar,
Yes.
the head general of the
Is that
entire
his
elven
name?
military. Yes.
Yeah, I don't like him.
So his
No one
wife is not a
does.
council member.
But yeah, my mother doesn't do anything nowadays. She also absolutely despises the war. So she just stays at home.
We
And
have no quarrels with your mother.
bakes bread. and makes tea.
We have no quarrels
she
with
used
your
to be a
mother.
rogue.
We have quarrels with your father because he is the head of the army. If you decapitate the head, the army shall follow. However, he is
At
not
least
the
hopefully.
only head.
I always assumed if you kill the head of the army, then the soldiers will start getting more chaotic.
I always
If you're
thought
on
it
top
was
of
if
the
you
head
kill
when you
the
decapitate
head,
it.
another one will come back.
Aye, unless you're standing above the head and you keep your sword inside.
True. Well, currently, what's going on is Mom doesn't know what happened or how he changed. He changed around the time he received his bow. And he doesn't know he exists, that I exist, that he doesn't exist. He doesn't know I exist. I am one of 2 children he has.
Aye.
His other daughter that he knows I exist is Rowena. He has trained her so much to be such a soldier to hopefully climb the ranks to be a council member. But that hasn't worked out great, so he sent her on a suicide mission and blah 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 blah. Dad's not great. We're hoping to just end this war one way or another, whether it's his demise or not. But to do that, I, just like you, would rather not have the bloodshed. So we were hoping that maybe we could convince people in some sort of way to just not go to the war.
She
From
raises
both
her
sides, just
eyebrow.
not show. But according to the papers today that we received from our lovely Bill right here, he managed to get into my father's office and copy down each and every plan he had.
Do you have those papers on you?
Do we have those papers on us?
You'll be the
I
one who
mean-
was holding them.
I only read
Then
the
yes,
one
we
sheet.
would.
I assume I gave it back.
Then yes, we have them with us.
She holds out her
Essentially, it
hand.
talks about. I will give her the papers.
She starts looking over them as you're talking.
Essentially, it talks about the disease that we're trying to find a cure of, and we've made a lot of progress with. We managed to slow it down at this point. But essentially, we need to fake our doctor's death and make sure he doesn't get a hold of the cure. Because it sounds like he's wanting to change it in a substantial way that will affect the orcs. That way, the elven military, and what it sounds like, he wants to send everyone possible to the war and completely wipe out the orcs this war.
She gives a deep sigh. I was wondering why he put us in quarantine.
Yeah.
I have a slight idea as to what we might be able to do involving that infection, but I'd wager it would be about 30 times as difficult as making this cure.
Unfortunately. I think he put us in this quarantine. She puts down the papers. To test his theory.
That wouldn't be surprising.
It seems like he is using us as guinea pigs with this disease to see what it affects, how it affects, and who it affects. And then adjusting based on the results. Bastard.
Question is, what do you think he's going to wind up doing if the infection just halts?
He's going to find out who made it stop and kill that person.
Very
He
likely.
already knows I'm on it.
Doesn't mean he can find you.
Do you know if he has a subject that's been infected?
We do. We have one particular one that we're working on, and I'm certain that there's several more down here.
Do you know if any have managed to go up above?
I do not.
Okay. It's possible that if they do stop being infected down here, then he'll take one up there and control the infection.
Sounds like he'd just be doing his entire army before the war even begins.
Depends on what you're willing to risk and the precautions you take. And from the looks of it, he's willing to risk everything.
Well, also from the looks of it, he might just make it so it doesn't affect the elves, but it'll affect the orcs.
Aye, that seems to be what he's going with. Though that tends to be a very long process, so it might be that if he can't get it that way, he just won't bother. And that concerns me even more.
Yeah, well, it's already been proven this long that he's willing to do anything to climb the ranks. I mean, he had a set of twins, and he sent one away and kept the other just to help him climb the ranks and prove his point that he's able to climb to be council member just because he was with a human.
True. She kind of pats the papers. We'll keep these in order to work on our plan more. If you're planning on letting him live, you may want to find a different group to talk to. We are not planning on letting any of the council members survive this raid. The war is going to end. It's going to end on their bloody hands.
If the war happens at all, the only way things are going to end is blood. I
Aye.
think we've had enough
Ellie's
shed.
gonna
I
sigh.
think we've had enough of that shed in the past 100 years.
Most of the council members have been there since the start of the war. 2 of them, in fact, started it themselves.
Bill's gonna raise his hand.
Ellie's just gonna sink her head into her hands during this moment.
I have a bad idea.
Oh.
I'm listening.
You're not. Bill looks at you specifically, Oliver, like dead eyes to you. You're not gonna like my idea. We have infected creatures, correct?
It looks like we
Yeah,
have many.
We have a handful of infected
Oliver
rats.
dropped his tone. I mean, Bill dropped his tone. It's serious.
I have a handful of infected rats back in my room that I'm experimenting on, and we have
I can get around the city. I can get to one of the council members. I can infect them. If they're wanting to use this to kill people, let's use it against them instead.
You see Marigold get the biggest... Like, she looked tired as shit this entire time. Like, she had a weight lift on her shoulders. As you say this, she sits up straighter and smiles. Beams at the very thought of you doing that. I like
If
how
they're
your
going
bird
to-
thinks.
It's not exactly the fact that we're trying to do a horrible thing, but I'll do anything if it means people survive. There's a lot of people down here dying, and those council members are shoving people down here to die. They've made it to where no one can get out. That means security is lighter, because no one can leave, in air quotes, but I can. I have a bag of holding. I can use it.
I like
know
how your
That is
bird
true.
thinks.
I know you won't like this idea, Oliver, but these people are doing awful things for their own gain, let's be honest here. People like them don't deserve a second chance that they're getting. And if they're serving those deities, I don't think they exactly need it. I don't think this war is exactly one note, if you catch my meaning. Even if we end the war, those people will still try to start it back up. We have to take them out, I agree.
Well,
Even if it
everyone's
isn't an ugly...
well. You're not
Was that
wrong.
Averin?
If we can somehow.
Sorry, I was just wondering. While everyone's been talking, can I sneak around the house and see if there's anything I can pocket or stuff that I find
I
interesting?
want to stab you.
100%. She is not going to notice anything you're doing the moment Bill started talking. Feel free to roll me perception. I will say there's not a whole lot of shit in here, but yeah, feel free to roll me perception.
All right, rolling perception.
You
Just the
don't
10.
find much. There's a couple of bread on the walls. There are not on the walls, but like on some shelves and stuff. There's some bread. There's a couple of papers that look to be like a map of the general area, map of the citadel, some notes from some of the members of the resistance talking to her about some things or another. Some look very personal. Some are pictures. Not a whole lot of stuff though.
I'll take the bread.
Oh, so, in my own craftiness, I must say, we infect the council. I will point out the fact that likelihood your dad would try to commit a coup. If he wants power, the
True.
best power he can have is being at the top. Yes?
I mean, that's what he's already doing right now, so.
Yes, but he'll have more reason to do so.
Mm.
But we have the cure, or we have somebody trying to make the cure. So we use it as a bargaining chip with the people. Not the council, but the people that live up there. They'll do anything for themselves, correct? Most of them are self-centered.
For the most part, yes.
And
They're
an
good
army
people, but
an army only has as much power. A council only has as much power as a people give them. So, we do something horrible against your moral compass, Oliver, but we give them the cure at a price, their loyalty, and the ability to overthrow the current problems. It's a very morally dubious thing, but at the end of the day, we could get a good outcome if we play our
I
cards right.
mean, the death of probably 7 people is better than thousands.
Oliver is just going to take a seat, place his hand in frustratedly to his forehead. I really hate the fact that I can't think of a better idea.
I'm
Ellie's
sorry.
gonna join him and pat his back.
Bill's gonna walk up to both of you and like put his little hands on like y'all's knees. I'm really sorry. I don't have a better idea.
No, it's fine. Literally every other direction I've been able to think about on how to handle this is going to result in probably far, far, far more people dying.
Well, there's also the thing that we can stop the people, but I don't know if the gods will try to continue this war themselves then.
Even if they do, you said you've already killed some, right?
We've only killed the one in Mercy. And I talked to both of them. One wants me to kill the elf that keeps bringing Bloodtooth back to life.
Well, how about we ruin both of their plans? Realistically, this world would die either way, right?
True.
So we deal with the two problems. The only place I've ever lived is the in-between. And that place is relatively healthy and luscious, but it has its own issues.
True. It's free of both gods, kinda.
And the souls are always screaming out for something.
yeah.
Bill kind of stops and he just like his brain just shuts off. What was I talking about? Souls. And you can like see his like brain just like you can see like he completely lost whatever he was saying.
His entire train of thought just went off the fucking cliff.
Of all times, Bill.
You see him visibly get upset at this, and it's just like, I can't remember what I was just talking about.
Ooh.
Well,
What
don't beat
was I
yourself
saying?
over it.
No, this is... Why can't I remember? That's wrong. Why is that wrong? I don't...
Bill,
I...
beating yourself up about it is not going to help you progress.
No, that's not the point. I never forget. Why can't I What was I talking about? Why can't I remember?
You were talking about the war and how to solve it. You made an amazing plan that we would disease the council members with one of the diseased rats,
Oh,
and that we would force them to try to work with us. And if not, we kill them. That there's no other way to go about it.
Oh. Okay.
As soon as you started talking about spirits is when you forgot. But we'll figure it out, okay?
Okay.
Bill,
It's okay.
I might have something I'd like for you to try. I
Oh,
wonder if it's going to assist us with this. I'm just going to start looking across the vials on my belt sash. Before I'm going to pull off one that's of a orangish, orange and tan concoction from it and hold it out towards him.
Mm-hmm.
It's cognitogen, specifically of fox cunning. Handing it to him.
Nice.
Bill kind of looks at it, his head tilts, and he just drinks it.
I'm going to cast Enhance Ability.
Ooh.
He has advantage on
Super.
intelligence checks.
Nice. You do feel slightly smarter. Unfortunately, you still have a gap in memory at the moment, but you do feel slightly more intelligent.
Hmm.
Yeah.
1 + 1 is 2.
Yep. That.
I
That sounds better.
was hoping that'd be a little bit more or help than that.
Marigold looks at your party and just says, "That's a good plan. We need to get things in order because if we force their hand too soon, then your father is going to be able to tip the scales in his favor a lot more easily than we can tip it in ours."
In that case,
So,
we're going to need to. If we're going to do this with an infection, then we're going to need to extract the sample pretty darn soon. The rats are midway into a recovery phase.
and I would rather not the possibility of. Oh, thank you, Knight Chronicles, for following. Nice to see you here. Hopefully you enjoy. But yeah, she looks at you and she's like, I also want to ensure that the council member, when he gets infected, doesn't decide to martyr himself and throw himself
Or
into
include anyone else.
Aye. I don't want them to
Because
throw themselves
currently
into
it's
a
passed by
pit.
disease. It's passed by blood. So he could easily cut his wrist or prick a finger and drip some of his blood into a drink or something. I don't know if the disease would be that potent enough to not be diluted and still work, but nonetheless.
We have
We
no
don't
idea
want
how it
him
travels
including
so
any
far.
hostages.
If the council members get scared enough, they might go to all ends in order to be able to prevent themselves from dying. And while that could be good, in certain circumstances, it could end very badly. Especially if one of the Say members gets infected, or if somebody on a carriage gets infected and they go to a different place. I don't know the best time in order to do this plan. And it looks like your group is having some difficulties with the idea of slaughtering someone in very cold blood.
I have no qualms with it. Everyone just mutters.
Standing in the dark corner, just chewing some more, probably very stale bread.
Well, it's definitely not in my nature, but I'd much rather, again, 7 be gone than millions. I'd much rather people be able to return to their families and have a safe place to return to. We barely relieved a town from a goddess that was controlling everyone inside. And now we're making it a town where everyone's welcome and it's safe to everyone, no matter the race.
That is a wonderful concept in theory.
Yep.
What I don't want to do is the rat getting loose, or the council member getting loose and us having to kill this
That is
entire
true.
town. Some
Too
safety
many
measures will be good.
Uncontrolled variables and not enough controlled variables.
Aye. We'll continue putting this plan into motion, set things up, maybe set up barricades. I have a couple of people in town who can organize things. Having Bill on our side can make our coup a lot easier in a couple of months. So we'll have that on plan. If you were talking about ending this war before it begins, I assume you have some plan for the orcs so they don't come in and start stomping us while the army leaves.
Yeah, I plan on at least trying. While we make our way to the... Ruby, you don't need my mouse. While we make our way to Cataclysm to talk to the orcs, because there's also a small resistance group there, and honestly, like a orc version of you there. Her name's Big Mama, and she has her own little resistance group too. We plan on talking to her more about the war and then try to find a way to stop the orcs from fighting over there too. And while we do that, my sister, who's currently training the army, is going to, in a sense, stop or, well, convince the military elves to not fight. But she's also going to try her best to take away my father's bow and arrow. That may or may not be possessing him.
Interesting. In that case, could you get me my war real quick, love? Don't unlock my door.
Yes, I can.
Hold on.
I would love to assist. I would
Sorry, I
love
have
to
something
assist you,
caught in my
Matt, but I'm
throat.
afraid my alchemical jar has already been used today. Yes, I know that was above game. I just had to do it.
Hi, Ruby.
And we're back.
Hi.
Sorry, I figured I could go without my water bottle, but turns out, no, I cannot. I start
Considering
dying.
you've already been paid to hydrate twice.
Well, I hydrated at one point with my lemonade, but then I ran out of lemonades. But anyways. So, she's like, well, in that case, if our plan goes as we expect it to, we can possibly have it start within 3 or so months from now. We'll do it before the army goes, but while they're preparing. While they set everything up, they'll be on lesser alert. So maybe a week before they head out, while they're still getting their arms in check, while they're all distracted by the upcoming army that they will be facing, we'll put our plans into motion. It'll be a lot harder, considering there will be an entire army in the town, but if your friend Bill here believes that he can go through the entire citadel without being seen by an entire army.
Oh,
Our
that's not
plans
going to
can
be
be-
a problem at all.
In that case, our plans can be done a lot easier and simpler.
We're gonna need to talk about concoctions, aren't we? Just looking towards Bill.
I have invisibility, remember?
You have it, but I have a free cast. But I also have but you could also stack it up with mine to potentially go 2 hours with invisibility if that's necessary.
True. But I also have the cloak, so I don't really have to worry about dodging people as much.
And you can turn really small too, so.
So hopefully
Fair
you'll
enough.
be able to get there. We will set up a path for the rat to not leave into places we don't know. We'll make sure that he cannot infect the entire army. We might safeguard that entire citadel room. There might be the paladin there,
We can try to
but we
work with
don't know.
my sister to try to make sure none of the members of the army gets included, just so it gets the council member only.
Aye. So if we manage to safeguard the entire elven army down in the Citadel here, and we remove the Citadel council members and I take their place, then the only thing we have left to worry about is the orcs.
Yep.
If you can manage
Which
to get rid of
hopefully
the
won't be
orc
too
issue,
difficult.
if you can manage to get rid of that issue, then this war will never happen, and we'll simply have to kill the council, and that is it. There are many things that could go wrong with
Yep.
this issue.
True.
And if it does, you will have to be prepared to face the consequences. There
Well,
will be
at
an
least,
army of 8,000.
yeah. And if it goes to that, I know for sure that a friend of mine will definitely call into arms. He's a really big dude that's had a lot of experience, but I'd rather not take that measure. But on the
Aye.
plus side, at least those closest are at a safe distance. I just hope if we do have to kill Omar, that
Amar.
that hopefully Rowena won't be upset, but I'd like to think she'll understand. But
Aye.
that's less of issue right now.
I meant
For
more
now, we
being
need
concerned
to.
about fighting the entire elven army as they are infected. Because
Yeah.
if the entire army gets infected, we can either try curing them, but they might die before we are able to. Or if they go insane, if the virus
True.
changes a little bit, if they get rampant or if other such happens, we will have to put down this entire city so they don't infect the world. And that's something you
Yep.
need to be okay with. Or at the very least,
Unless,
help with.
how hard do you think it would be to make another version of cowpox?
Oh,
Have you heard
You're
the
the
story
doctor.
Are
of that?
you wanting to make them another disease to keep them controlled?
I'm certain I went over the story in the past. Easiest way to explain it: there once was a time with two illnesses, one which was exceptionally deadly, the other not so much. It turns out the one that was exceptionally deadly looks very similar to her internal cells, specifically to defend against infection, as the one that is nearly harmless. So all that they really had to do was to infect everyone with the exceptionally low lethality infection, and basically everyone became immune to the one that would actually kill them. Do you
Interesting.
think that would be it would be a much more difficult process, but if we could pull that off, we might not necessarily need to worry about the infection at all.
I
So
mean,
I'm certain no one would feel like crap for a few weeks.
The entire army of nearly 6,000 will be inside the Citadel, almost all compressed, in the week before the battle, which is when we'll do our coup. If you can manage to find a way to spread that infection in that entire cluster during that week, then yes, it would be.
Theoretically, we only need to infect one person if that's the case. Considering that one person could potentially infect everyone else.
If you can make that train start, then we won't have to worry about that infection, and we should be fine.
I mean, it
see.
would be a much easier controlled variable in the sequence of things than the rat, making sure the rat only goes to one person, which with the rat, the one way to do that, to make it a controlled situation, is by bringing it to Mom. Because that's the one place he'll rarely visit, but it's a place where it's just him, his wife, and their favorite daughter.
If you think that a woman would be capable of killing her husband, we can try that route. I don't put
I
faith in
have
people,
no idea.
unfortunately.
That sounds like it'd be a stretch to assume, especially by her standards.
I don't put my faith in most people, unfortunately. So if we do go with that route, I will have a backup route in plan. That backup route will likely be me stabbing your father in the chest with a knife.
Which won't hurt my feelings. I don't really consider him a dad. I already have a dad. Well, dads.
Well, good.
But
Because it may be your frying pan that smashes in his skull if necessary.
I mean, to
well,
be fair, your other dad is someone else is trying to kill him with alcohol poisoning.
yeah, I still need to solve that issue.
I mean,
But nonetheless.
should be able to clear out his liver pretty easily if that's the problem.
Oh, so.
Well, he hasn't died yet based on all the alcohol he's tried, so.
Oh, so
Isabel?
wouldn't it be more easier just to make a vial of the stuff and put it in a drink or something?
That is true. It would be. It's not traceable that way, too.
Mm-hmm.
Not as traceable.
The rat has a little too many variables. If you could extract a vial of the stuff, I can just throw it in their drink when they're drinking.
True. We
I
could pay Mom
really
a
like how
visit
your bird
and be like,
thinks.
hey, let's have some tea.
Probably gonna need to infect more than one person. Remember, this is an infection that spreads through blood,
Yeah.
through blood contact.
So you have one vial
is
for
true.
each person.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're capable. I've seen you do it. I've seen you have multiple vials of the stuff. Though, probably
And
a
I could help you, Oliver.
yeah, but I will say probably a less infectious version of it would be likely if you could maybe make one within the few months. If not, that's fine. But
Less
We just need
infectious
to
version we
somehow
probably already
force
have right
them to
now.
quarantine.
Less infectious version we probably have right now. The rats may be recovering, but there is still a few, let's say, dormant portions of the infection, which probably could reawaken if left for long enough without being destroyed by the immune system. If we can separate them, which I bet with the filter or tubes I have, we could probably do fairly easily. You might be able to make do with some of the stuff we've already got.
Well, if you can find the main trigger of the disease and remove that trigger, you'd still have all the other symptoms and such in the mix, so. It could be just they get blue veins for a month instead of dying.
I guess we really are going to need to make that. That's cowpox equivalent. That's going to take a lot longer.
Aye. We have a deadline of about 4 months. Maybe a little bit less. Probably a week or two less. Things are approaching ahead, and we need the orcs off our backs. Because if we keep the entire army in this place, and the orcs show up, we're fighting 2 battles at the same time, if not 3 if we count the council members. Because they do have the Elder Paladin on their side as well. And no one knows how the Elder Paladin works except when he's on the battlefield. So, not even I.
That is true.
do you know where this other paladin stays?
Inside the council room, he usually sleeps in, well, she air quotes, sleeps inside of the room directly above their council room. That's where he goes after every battle.
I could always take a nap to see if Paylor will tell me anything, but I kind of doubt it.
In this case, I probably would say probably not, given that we're trying to mess with, her side?
His
Well,
mutters under his breath. Oliver just mutters under his breath.
He doesn't know what we're planning right now, but he could tell me. Or he could not. That's
I could
entirely
just
up
go
to
meet
him.
this paladin.
Well, yeah.
I could go meet the paladin.
You
their name.
could.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's too much of a good idea considering the stories, but I could see if Shar has any idea about the paladin because she doesn't lie.
Sin, I don't know what you just did with the Foundry campaign chat, but
Yeah, I'm fixing
there you
it. It shot itself.
go. Oh gosh.
Oh, a moment. Okay.
It looks fine to me.
No, it doesn't. Not on the Twitch stream, dear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, Ruby kind of was attacking my phone, so I don't have that up anymore.
you know.
Fair.
Between
Fair
the
is
drool and
fair.
everything, yeah.
Let me shift this. There we go. And then I will. Don't worry about it, folks.
Oh, jeez.
Really fine. There we go.
It's
Alright.
fine, it's fine.
Only broke it a little bit.
Go sleep, go sleep, go sleep, go sleep.
But yeah.
No, we don't have that here. Turn around. It'll be back to normal in 2 seconds. You'll never know the difference.
It'll be fine. We're professionals. We do this all the time. But yeah, so she just kind of nods at you and she's like, if we can get the orcs off of our backs, that would be good. If your friend Bill can find out this Elder Paladin's deal. Could be a very dangerous trip, but could be a good one.
A risk I'm willing to take right now.
Agreed. It's a risk worth taking for the sake of everyone.
She looks at Averin. Are you part of their team now? Is that? I met you like
yes.
yesterday.
Debatable.
Oh no, sorry, last week. Yeah.
Mm,
We just met
That's-
her. She seems friendly.
thank you.
She's about as trusting as my trust to Jackson when I first met him, so
Jackson's a
don't-
very reliable fellow. I have faith that she is a very friendly fellow. Unfortunately, I
know
don't
who
have
that
faith in
guy
pretty
is,
much
but-
anyone, so... And you stole my bread.
What?
What?
No, I didn't.
She looks at the
This is
empty shelf
entirely
next to you.
I don't know what happened to that. This is
that's
entirely
the second
different.
time
guys.
she's stolen bread. I'm starting to think she's part bird, considering the amount of bread she's been taking.
She stares at
I
Bill.
like bread.
I don't eat a lot. Well, I guess alcohol has a lot of yeast type content, so technically you could say alcohol is bread.
A quick question.
A
Mm-hmm.
quick answer.
It's not really related to the war or anything, but it was kind of the reason why I've been out and about. I was kind of curious what all Jackson's been doing these past months, years. He was always leaving and staying for such a short time at the forest.
He was my right-hand man. I often sent him on missions that others had difficulties with or had a rather high chance of death. He seemed to prefer those missions for some reason or another. Always said, if I can take these missions, no one else will have to. Also, I'm fairly certain he just thought it was to be more buff and macho, but yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like something you would do. I was just curious because, yeah, it wasn't great waiting so long at the forest for him to return, and he may or may not return. And last time I saw him, he ended up being mind controlled by a god in a town.
She looks at you with a very
Living
deadpan face. And she's just like,
Anyway, sorry,
so horrible.
but But currently, he's at the town I told you about, Mercy. We're hopefully turning into a neutral town
Well, good
where
to know his
everyone's
location.
welcome
I'll
and
send for
somewhere
him at some
to.
point.
I would wish for him not to be in any danger. Or go any more missions, preferably.
Yeah,
But
he
that's
hasn't
also
been
why
because I
he
haven't
sent
sent
me.
for him, so...
Fair. Fair point.
We'll fix that soon.
If he goes on anymore, if he goes on anymore, I'll come with. I'm kind of sick of waiting around for him, so.
Look, lady,
Nonetheless,
I don't know your preferences for doing whatever with whichever group, and frankly, I
Fair.
don't care that much.
Nonetheless, we should. Child. Sweet child. Child. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We should get going so we can figure out our next steps. What we should do first. Starting to sound like we should talk to the orcs first. All the while, get the concoction ready.
We'll deal with this side as much as we can, organize things to whatever ability that we can, and make sure that what needs to be done gets done.
If you ever run into my sister, Rowena, she will likely be able to help a lot. Or possibly Mom.
I'll
I'm
let
sure
her know
she's
you
all
said.
for helping.
She nods at you. Alright.
Well, anything else? Ollie, do you have anything?
I just have to get to work.
Which I'll do my best to help you with. I know it's not the most fun thing to do when it comes to mixing things.
Well, at the very least, this lens should make things a lot quicker.
That is true, and the sending stone will definitely help too.
That's. Why did you get that? Just confused.
I mean, you're the one that gave it to me. Anyway.
That's what that was?
It's this.
Going towards the ceiling.
What I asked Santa to make was basically something to help with the war and the war. And he decided that sending stones would help, which honestly it does, because then I can be like, while we're in Cataclysm talking to the orcs, I can let Arthur know or Marigold know what's going on. Or Rowena.
Sounds useful.
Yes, definitely. A lot better than the scroll that Arthur gave me. That's a one-time use and emergencies only. So honestly, want to avoid including the macho bear-killing man. So
macho man. Now I will say the and you'll probably get this at some point later. Someone tells you, probably Mrs. Claus. But essentially, if you communicate from one stone to the other, you can communicate how much you want. If you have one of the stones in your hand, you can actually use the sending spell once per each of the stones per day to any person that you know using the sending spell.
So I need to leave the other stone with someone?
You can do it intermingling party, or... Yeah. Each of the stones you're able to use the sending spell once a day with. You can talk through the stones to the other stone as much as you want. So if you want to give it to Oliver while he was distance traveling, you could. Want to give it to Averin? Give it to Bill while he's on his quest with the poison, you could. Poison for Cusco. Cusco's
so it
poison.
wouldn't work as I was originally planning, unless they had the other stone.
No, you can just use the sending spell with either of the stones to anyone.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Should I
just
run
freely
down
communicate between the stones.
Should I above game run
Okay.
down the full effects of sending?
Sure.
You send a short message of 25 words or less to a person with which you are familiar. The person hears the message in their head and can recognize you as the sender if they've met you before. It takes an intelligence of at least 1 as your score, not modifier, to understand the meaning of the message. And they
Yay.
can immediately send another message following the exact same rules that you did. The message can travel an unlimited amount of distance, including to other planes. However, if you do transfer that message to another plane, there's a 5% chance the message does not arrive.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Memory serves, that is the
communication.
full list of its effect.
Yeah, so communication between the stones is free. The stones themselves have that spell in them once per day.
Be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could, in fact, use that stone to talk to Arthur right now if you want to, or you could pass it to Bill and talk with him freely. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hey.
Nice. Alright. So what are you guys' next steps?
I mean, I probably need to be making my way back to the bar to prepare the identify spell.
Smart plan.
Bill just looks at them. So where are we going?
Let's take a day to just regather ourselves, get some stuff together, and whatever rations we need for the trip.
I'm gonna see what this.
And
Hmm?
yeah, we might be facing the orcs tomorrow, or something of the sorts.
What was that, Bill?
Okay. I'm gonna see what the spirits have to say.
Fancy. I forget how your spirits thing work.
Mm-hmm.
Take a nap.
Look, I'm a College of Spirits person. Gameplay wise, I mean, just freaking look at it. That's what College of Spirits means. And I know I have other stuff, but I've got to find it.
Yeah. Ah. Oh. You can learn one spell of your choice from any class.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
crud.
amazing.
Must be a level that you can cast. Must be in the school of divination or necromancy. And must be a level equal to the number of creatures that conducted the ritual or less. Which you can have up to 3 people with you.
So that would mean a 3rd level spell.
Would that include Micah?
Can count up to a 4th level spell, I think, if he has the 4th level spell slot. It could count as Micah, yeah. You guys haven't really talked to Micah lately, so.
Yeah, we
But
really
communicate with
should communicate with him a bit more.
He's just kind of been chilling in Bill's room. Avoiding everyone. Yeah. Depending on who you bring with you for that commune, you can totally make any spell you wish as you talk with the spirits. Yeah, so Averin, what was your plans? Probably the bringing up Circadia most likely, but yeah.
Averin just like casually mentions, the Circadia thing. But this is like a downtime thing. She might head back to the bar and I don't know, do a flippin' bar concerty thing. And pickpocket any members of the audience. Some such.
I love that
Averin has
so
some-
much.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. You're okay. You're that. Well, you are a bard, so that does work fairly
Yeah.
well. Yeah. So so probably during this long rest or so that you guys be taking a minute, Oliver is going to start working on. What are you working on again, real quick? Oliver.
I'm going to be starting by preparing Identify so that
Right.
I'd be able to examine the serum.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you're gonna
Question.
do that. What was the question?
I said, sorry, that was the end of my previous sentence.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my brain was like,
So I
oh,
can
the question.
identify the serum in question.
Ah,
Sorry,
okay.
I split that
You're good.
apart. My bad.
So you're gonna prepare that. Bill is going to commune with the spirits. How many people are you taking with you to do that?
Whoever wants to come with me.
You gonna go with him, Ellie?
Yeah.
I'll join.
Honestly,
Okay.
Bill's less looking for a spell and looking for information from the spirits.
Ah. Well, in that
The
case,
spell will just be a bonus. Bill's looking to see if any of the spirits knew the paladin that he's about to attempt to talk to at some point.
I will say the only thing that you get from many of the spirits, especially since they're inside of the citadel itself, is he's big. He's almost never seen. He never talks. He's wearing full plate armor, has a sword the size of a mountain, probably exaggeration, but you're not entirely sure, and he glows with a radiant light. Pretty much all you get. It's a lot of really choppy phrases and statements, some of them more exasperated than others, and many of them seem false to you. Actually, roll me an intelligence save. With advantage, I think. Is it advantage? Yes, with advantage. Yeah, some of them seem just like really, really exasperated statements that are probably not true, but you keep them in mind. But for the most part, yeah, very big, very tall, full plate, shining with radiant energy, and has a super huge, massive sword. That's pretty much all you gain from it. Apparently none of the spirits down here or in the Citadel, for the most part, have ever actually seen the person regularly or to any extent. You do hear many voices chanting, "Wartime, wartime, wartime."
That's
Kind
a
of just
messed
constant
up Blue's
chanting.
Clues quote.
Blue's good too, and we good too. Bill just jumps out of a window.
Defenestration! But yeah, so Ellie, you get to hear the voices of the damned and dead, and some nice ones too. And Averin, roll me a sleight of hand check.
my favorite.
Oh yeah, good sleight of hand. God,
17.
it's still stupid high. You'll get probably 4 gold from that. I'll give you 4 gold
Sweet.
from the audience. Most of them don't seem to notice that you are doing a impromptu movements and stuff. Do you have mage hand actually?
I believe. Yes, I do.
You do. That's how you're stealing people's gold.
Mm-hmm.
Performing a wonderful performance and just do boop, do boop, do boop. But yeah, and so that's how you guys spend pretty much the next 8 hours or so before the air quote day passes on by. The bar kind of eases up a little bit, and you all either wake up, finish communing, or prepare the identity spell, and you all once again back together. I'll bring us back to the bar.
Real quick,
Mm-hmm.
in that time,
Mm-hmm.
actually, never mind. I'm going to talk to the group first before I do it.
Okay. Well, you're once again back with the group as Averin has come by, possibly with a heavier bag of coins, and Oliver has identity spell readied up as he's fixing up his glasses or the lens or whatever he's doing. And Bill
I
looks
just
deep in
assume the
thought.
lens practically looks like a monocle.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. And so you're shining that, and Bill looks very deep in thought. As much thought as this poor fellow has.
Yeah. Oh, so Sin, the spell I grab is Detect Good and Evil.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
It has to be divination or necromancy related spell. And if
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be talking to this big fella, I feel like that's going to be necessary.
You know what? Fair.
Detect, detect good and evil.
Uh-huh. Let's see.
Well, Detect Evil and Good is what it's called, and it.
Yeah, it's Oh, is it detect good and evil? Or evil and good?
Yeah, Detect Evil and Good. For the duration, you know if there's an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located. Similarly, you know if there is a place or object within 30 feet of you that has been magically consecrated or desecrated. This spell can penetrate most barriers by it is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, and a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood and dirt.
It's a very useful spell.
Yeah, and Bill has his own things he wants to confirm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Bet. So you guys are in the room. Bill's thinking. What you want talking about, Ellie? Ellie? Ellie?
Uh-oh.
We've lost her. It's the abyss.
Ellie, no. No
Who's
dying.
deliver? Oh no!
I think she...
God.
Oh, there
Hello?
she is.
Are you alive?
Oh, hi.
Ellie?
Hello?
I'm here.
Ah, there
Okay,
you are.
thank
cool.
goodness. Whew. I thought we'd have to
He
have someone
turned
deliver a
off-
eulogy.
Ruby turned off my Discord.
Let
Oh.
us stand to honor the death of Mrs. Eleonora. I'm
The
sorry.
tiny child has murdered her.
Yeah.
We will forever remember her.
Anyway, hi, I'm back.
Hi,
Hi.
welcome. So you walked in, Bill's in deep in thought. Oliver's
Yes.
polishing a monocle. Yeah.
Oliver and Bill, you can chime in. Should I let Arthur know what's going on?
Well, if he's going to be important for the plan, I think that's a pretty good idea to do early.
Because I don't know if there's been any rumors passed around or not of what's going on, if they know about the disease or not, or what's happening.
Who's Arthur?
He's a gigantic, really tall human fighter. Not paladin. That's right, not paladin in this one.
Mhm.
Fighter. And he has all sorts of wonderful stories about how he fought a bear and won because he agreed to join the clan if this person died and blah blah blah. Anyway, absolutely amazing, gigantic teddy bear that can easily smash to smithereens anyone. And
Bill's
he
just
wears
enjoying the
very
story.
heavy, like, platinum armor that glistens, and he has this gigantic sword and just this warm, welcoming smile, and yeah. Anyway,
She's exaggerating him more than I do. I love it.
you know what? Go on. I'm trying to just keep focus on what I was gonna say. Anyway, absolutely wonderful character, and he would help a lot in this war, but I would much rather try to keep as much, just less people involved as possible. But I figured it would be good to let them know what's going on in case the disease reaches them,
It's not like you
or
need to
they
tell-
catch wind of anything.
It's not like you need to tell him every detail of the current phase. Just think about what he needs to know for the information you want to ask from him, and we can fill him in with the rest when we need to later.
That is true, because I'd much rather him not appear armor and everything and great giant freaking sword ready to throw us on his shoulders as he beheads people or talks them into submission, which he could do both easily.
She's so
He
adorable.
even has a dragon friend. It's so cool,
Dragon. Now that's a story you don't hear every day.
right? Oh my gosh, Oliver. But like after this war is over and everything, we must like sit him down, give him a bunch of alcohol because he loves alcohol and that's like the one thing he spends, and get him to tell all his stories.
How many gallons do you need? He just says the straight face.
He probably drinks as much as Grampy. Honestly, I want him to meet Grampy. Actually, probably not. He would probably give him a stern talking to about how he acts. I don't know, honestly.
Speaking of alcohol, just puts the jar on the table and slides it towards Bill. Because he missed out on your chance yesterday.
He just puts his hand on it and just yells, "Napalm!"
Oh, God. Hey, Sid. Of the 8 options that I listed earlier, which one do you think would be the closest substitute?
What was it called again?
It's called the Alchemy Jug. The options are acid, basic poison, beer, honey, mayonnaise, oil, vinegar, fresh water, salt water, or wine.
I would probably say this is most similar to oil.
That would be he gets a quart of oil.
So you get a quart of effectively a napalm creation, which if you lay on fire will be very nasty to your opponents.
See Bill put it in the bag of holding.
Oh my god.
How does he store a quart of oil like that? Never mind,
yeah,
I guess it's a dumb question.
Eventually, you'll meet him, Bill. He might just pick you up and put you on his shoulder and call it good.
I wish people would not manhandle me sometimes, but fair enough.
Well, it wouldn't be so much as manhandling, it'd be more of like gently lifting you with permission
Fair
and
enough.
like making you fly. He just put you on his shoulder and just walk around and be like, hey, look at this. Or like he put you on your shoulder, his shoulder, as proving his point of he can battle someone while in rushing river with you on his shoulder with no sweat.
Fair enough.
He's a wonderful guy. Anyway, I can go on. But
Nice
yeah, I'll
stories.
likely you know what?
Mm-hmm.
You're enjoying this way too much.
Oh, exceptionally.
Come on, brain, go back. Anyway, I'll use the sending stone to talk to him or whoever answers. Hopefully him, and he'll be at that town still. That way they know, hey, the war is still 4 months away. There's a disease going around with blue veins, and it can kill a person. It's only transmitted by blood, though, so just be careful. And we're currently going to talk to the 2 resistance groups.
That's probably
Does that
around
sound okay?
25 words.
Ah! You know what?
To be fair, he does. It never. To be fair, the stipulation never says it has to be complete sentences.
That's true, yeah. That's around 25 words. I'll let it slide. I don't actually know how many words that was, but
You know
I'm
what?
fairly certain it was
It was
under
a lot more than
25.
25.
Nah, probably under 25.
Nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
I will likely just say something along those lines to Arthur. That way he can keep in mind, or he can let Jackson know, or Grampy, whoever is nearby, or so you choose.
Fair.
And he can send back a 25 word response immediately.
And
Indeed.
hopefully, in those 25 words, it's not just in all caps, while yelling. I am coming. Beware and watch out.
Oh gosh.
Do we need to beware?
I mean, a stampeding 7 foot, about 8 foot in his armor. Remind you, it's platinum armor that glistens and glows, and a clanking giant sword charging at you. I'd beware, because if he tries to stop on a short notice, that armor might fall off of him. That, or he has it enchanted to come back to him, and I'd rather not be smacked by armor.
I love the idea of this hulking giant you're describing just running forward, stopping, and his armor just like slides off of his body.
Oh no.
It's
Slides
the
forward, hits a
funniest
person,
mental
slides
image.
back
Just the
to
sound of
him.
scraping metal just stops on a dime, just watches as every piece of his chest plate just like falls off. He's like, dang it.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Not again. That's the 5th time this month.
That's why
Oh,
he
gotta get these
had,
straps fixed up.
That's why he had an artificer tinker it, and it's like, okay, now it'll return to me.
Good golly.
Uh,
Alright.
I have an important question.
Hmm.
Yes.
I mean, is it really important that he knows, or what are you trying to avoid by letting him know?
I mean, what I'm trying to avoid is that hopefully no one else outside of the Citadel or Cataclysm will want to be included in the war, or also ends up with the disease. And we'll have another cycle of trying to stop the disease or whatever else.
Gotcha.
Because we don't know if anyone else outside of the slums is also diseased. Because it wiped out Oliver's whole town. And that's outside the Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, it's pretty close to the center of the continent.
Really?
Yep, it was a small trade hitting civilization.
And the town of Miesi is kind of close to... Oh my gosh,
Ruby's very grumpy at the moment. But yeah, it's very close to Miercy and very close to Greytown as well. Kind of in between the two of them.
That's why I just want to make sure he knows that there's a disease, have an eye on it, and currently we're talking to the resistance groups.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know if there's a war, he'll likely find out by either which if I tell him, he'll know it's an emergency, if I sound in any danger, or he'll hear by rumor. And I'd much rather him hear the truth from me or anyone else rather than someone not of this group. More specifically, someone he's met in this group. And she says that looking at Averin. So,
The
this will
distrust
be
in
using the
everyone.
sending stone.
Everyone shrugs.
It'll likely be you, Oliver, and Bill. And I will keep the other stone with me as a communication to likely just Rowena, Arthur, and Marigold. Maybe Ezekiel, if I'm feeling up to it, but he seems angsty lately in his wannabe main character. So,
Okay.
whatever that means. I'm rambling. I'm exhausted. Yeah. So much piling on the plate, even though we have 4 months.
Hey,
I
Simon.
know.
Just so it's
Uh,
out there, while this has been ongoing, I'm midway into the ritual cast of Identify,
okay,
in
cool.
case that wasn't already said.
Nice.
And I'm gonna go send the message to Arthur.
Okie dokie.
Grab my little stone and be all blah 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 blah.
Alright. The message that you get back is going to be... assuming that you basically say what you said of
Yeah.
the war being about 4 months, disease going on, dangers are present, but we're unharmed. Anything else?
Disease, watch for blue veins. Danger, but we are safe. War in 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Other than that, we're talking to resistance groups.
Alright, cool. He'll probably say something along the lines of, understood. Understood. If you need me, I will be there. Probably following that with, like, be safe. Don't take this on alone. Trust in your teammates. About 20 words.
I just saw everyone just like, yes, trust me.
Seeing average smug grin while you do that.
Yes. Just trust us. Looks at Bill, who's actively counting all of his Molotov.
Well, you know, it's fine.
Probably. Gosh.
1, 2, skip a few, 900. Anyways, yeah. So, yep, that plan now. The orcs are the only real danger, assuming that everything goes well on this side, which honestly, y'all been lining this thing up, point, line, and sucker at this point, so very impressive. So it seems like things will go pretty well along the way if you keep as you guys are. The orcs are the number one danger. Averin still has her mission down Circadia. There's also the dwarves up north if you wish to meet them for some reason or another. There is the bards that have gone up there, and who knows what the dwarves' allegiance is to either of the teams, along with the goblins. Those are also existing and present. So, what'd you guys like to do? Where'd you guys like to go?
Well, Avern wants to go to Circadia.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a very specific direction at the moment, though it could be nice to pop into me or say to double check on things. He's going in the area and listen to local gossip. I'd wager that location's a lot friendlier than here.
I mean, true. We could. Oh goodness, that caught me off guard. That this scene changed. We could hit up Mercy on our way to Circadia. It's kind of on the way. We could talk to Mrs. Claus to see how long her teleportation is, because we could have her teleport us to Mercy, and then we can walk to Circadia, go back to Mercy, communicate with Mrs. Claus to teleport us back to the Citadel or to Cataclysm.
Yeah.
At least that's my plan. I don't know if it'll work, but you know, I'm not used to this leader thing.
Bill has no preference. Bill goes where the wind takes him. And by wind, he means you guys, because Bill is kind of just wandering about, and he has no idea what to do. If you left Bill here, he would go meet the paladin. If y'all stayed 1 more or 2 more days, technically, because
we're planning to just head out immediately.
yeah, Bill doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of going wherever y'all go. You think he's been paying attention this entire time? His brain's been all over the place.
Mm-hmm. How long you guys stay in this place is entirely up to you, as is your guys' plan. So you guys can either stay here for a little bit longer to get whatever you guys need to get done, or you guys can go talk to Mrs. Claus and teleport out of here, down to Miercy, talk to Arthur, get some fresh air, go down to Circadia, do the same thing, finish the mission for our Averin. You guys could teleport all the way over to Cataclysm, right smack dab in the middle of the orcs, or even down in the Umbra Wastes with the goblins.
We're going to Big Mama, not in the middle of the orcs.
You could drop down in the middle of the orcs if you wanted
No,
to.
no, no,
You have a
no,
mission to kill
no,
the elf. It's
no,
fine.
no, no. I made you really delicious food.
It's quite tasty.
Accept my words of no. We're not doing that.
So where y'all go?
Okay, Oliver.
Hmm?
How long do you need? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you need to be here for what you're currently working on?
DM medicine check.
Yep.
Medicine check with it.
With
Sure.
advantage?
Do advantage.
All right. Oh dang!
Damn. So it will not take you too much longer to figure out how to do a starting cure for Fae. Probably another day or so, and you'll be able to do as much as you can for Fae without waiting for longer, which you can do while venturing in the first place. Everything else, making the new disease and everything like that, you can do that while adventuring.
Basically, it's on the brink of being usable for human test subjects.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, quote unquote human.
Mhm.
Close enough.
But it's pretty much on the verge. You just need like 1 more day to really get it down.
I'm right around the corner for being ready. I'd say it's probably going to be prepared for human test subjects in a day or so.
Okay, so we'll linger here for another day, which works. We can talk to Mrs. Claus to get some cookies from her. We can make sure we have everything gathered, have all of our information figured out, and yeah, and then tomorrow we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
So our game plan will be today, get the cure and such ready to go, and tomorrow we will head out to Miercy via Mrs. Claus and just chit chat, catch up, figure out things from there, walk to the Circadia, figure out things from there, go back to Miercy, or just have Mrs. Claus send us to Big Mama in Cataclysm. That way we can take our steps to talk to the orcs. And hopefully this all works out, that we only have to kill 7 people instead of millions.
Well, thousands, but yeah.
Okay,
Dang, small continent.
orcs plus elves plus possibly dwarves plus whoever else is involved. Honey.
Yeah,
Million.
fair enough. You could kill the entire continent, you know.
Then let's be real. If the war goes on, even If both sides
my
are only
forest,
intending to
watch my
attack the orcs, everyone in between is going to get slaughtered anyway.
Fair, yeah. But yeah.
Also, Sin, as soon as all my stuff regens, so like cloak and whatnot, Bill would just quietly leave during whatever time that is all done, and he would go into the city to go see this paladin himself.
All right,
Because he does have that spell, and he's not going to waste the effort and the time right now.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to confirm something that he's thinking.
All right, cool. Yeah, you're more welcome to do that. So Oliver is going to finish up his preparations for human testing of the cure. Bill's going to go meet the paladin. Averin and Ellie, what are you guys going to be doing for your last night, most likely inside of the Citadel?
Deal stuff. Yeah. I don't know, just hang about around the bar, pickpocket more. I'm amassing money. This is my
Alright, fair
career.
enough.
This sounds literal, actual career.
You know what? It kind of is. Feel free to do another another pickpocketing. And are you going to be going about outside of the bar as well, considering it's don't take a full 24 hours?
Sure, let's do a street performance. Why not?
All right, fair. So roll me sleight of hand and then perception with advantage.
Ooh. Okay. Should that sleight of hand?
God damn.
24. Perception with advantage.
Nice.
That's
Okay.
17.
So you're outside on the street. You're doing a impromptu performance. What kind of performance are you doing?
Just singing a song with my super cool epic bard lyre.
Very nice, very nice. All right, so you're doing some songs. You're pickpocketing some people's hands and stuff. And with that pickpocket, or with that sleight of hand that is wonderfully high, feel free to do a to give yourself, let's say, 2 platinum, because you've been stealing a lot.
Oh gosh.
You're doing some sweet stabbies, grabbies and stuff like that. And then I will also say that as you are pickpocketing a significant quantity of things, okay, you get a you also find it's a very odd looking coin. It's not quite the same odd that Tommy had, but it's a very different kind of penny. It's definitely some kind of copper. You're not quite sure what it is though, but essentially this copper just looks really nice, really shiny, and really pretty to you. Slightly different from the rest of it, definitely noticeably distinguishably different, and so you pocket that as well. So it kind of jingles itself away from the other coins in your coin pouch, making it particularly noticeable to you specifically. And that is going to be this, which I will post inside of the campaign chat, which will be called the Lucky Penny. And we're going to ignore that first part. Hold on. Boop. There you go. The next time that you roll a nat 1, you get to re-roll, and the paint will become normal copper. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, so, boosh. That's what you've been doing all night. Ellie, what have you been doing all night? And day, I guess.
I don't know. I can't exactly sneak off to mom because we're quarantined.
You do notice Bill disappear. You also notice that Averin is playing, singing inside of the street outside.
I don't care. Um, I am tired at Ellie's very over this at this point.
Oh, it's just like, she's
She's
there, she's good.
taking in the fact that she has to kill 7 people and making big decisions left, right, and sideways. She's
You
tired and
don't
over
have to
it.
kill 7 people. You just get to be.
I might have to.
You
I
just get
made
to
the
help
I'm
kill
part of the
7 people.
decision. I'm still part of that decision.
I mean, if anyone's actually killing them, technically it's Bill.
Yeah.
Since he's
You're
gonna be the
just
one
you're
who
just
finds the poison.
assisting in murdering.
Anyway, Ellie is likely just going to help around the bar,
Mm-hmm.
try to talk to Tommy, get some funny stories about Jackson from him, and then
Mhm.
during the night, try to talk to Paylor.
Okay. So, as you sleep, and you once again wake up in your dream thing, Tommy really isn't that much of a talker, honestly. He like gives you some suggestions, which is namely like, don't fling yourself into the ground, don't work harder than you necessarily have to, do good by other people. Normal friendly advice thing that doesn't really equate to much. He's mostly just watching you work around the bar. That's pretty much all he does. But as you go to sleep and you wake up, you once again wake up in this weird, empty area, kind of like a dark and almost as if like you can see all around you, but there's really nothing to see. It's that same odd feeling that you've encountered for a lot of your life. It feels like there should be a moon here, but there isn't. It feels like the sun should be shining on you, but it isn't. And you kind of look around a little bit before you see at the corner of your eye your best friend Okun. Paylor as he walks into your line of sight. He's wearing his normal suit and tie, standing easily a foot or two above you, looking all kind of regal and just generally mightier than thou as he usually does. As he kind of like looks down at you and nods at you.
You know, this place never changes, just like you.
Your
Would be
lifetime
nice
is
to have
far
like a chair.
too. Your lifetime is far too short for this place to change any.
I mean, fair, I guess, but it still would be nice to have a change of scenery.
I suppose. And like he snaps his hand, and immediately the scene shifts a little bit, and so you're now standing on a pool of water with a moon shining above, rippling the water below you. Is that more to your tastes?
I guess this works. A bit terrified of the moon, considering the last time I had to deal with the moon and we had to not look at it, but that's fine. So, how are you? It's been a while.
I am okay, I guess. I don't really work by terms of mortals, so don't quite understand how to explain it to you, but I am doing, I suppose, by your definitions, alright. And yourself?
Fair. Exhausted. This war is a lot bigger than I realized, and making big decisions about it isn't fun. So,
Oh, you are just a speck in the sea of existence.
fair. I have a friend in my team that keeps forgetting things, even though he's a species that's known to never forget. And he can talk to spirits, and he can talk celestial.
He raises his eyebrow at that
And
last bit.
yeah, odd, isn't it? And he also, based on what I learned about everyone's auras, his aura is broken. I was curious if you knew anything about that.
When one's aura is broken, that usually means by some way, shape, or form, their connection to a deity that they once had or once were around was shattered in some way, shape, or form. Do not know this friend of yours. Sounds like a curious case, especially one that can speak the language of the deities above. But he sounds interesting. It is likely that
Yeah.
maybe he broke a connection. Maybe one was broken with him.
Fair. He's just a friendly Cancun.
Hmm.
And his name is Bill. He drinks a lot and can handle a lot. But he has trouble remembering certain parts. But I was just curious if you knew. If you knew if by any chance why he would be forgetting and why it's broken.
I unfortunately do not. I do not often concern myself with the qualms of mortals.
Or other gods or deities.
He shrugs. If a god gets big enough for me to worry about it, I remove it.
Fair enough. Could you tell me a bit about your paladin?
Which
The one
one?
that sits. The one that sits, quote unquote, asleep in the Citadel Tower.
He was my first paladin.
Oh.
Aye, the one I created so very long ago. My paladins are all ones who have chosen to worship me, those who have chosen to give themselves to my powers. Those who have done so, who have embraced my powers to the greatest extent, become part of my powers. He was the first, he was the strongest, and he is the one that fights on the side of the elves every single time. I
So he
frankly
was a
do not
normal
know if he has a
person
mind.
before?
Hmm?
I was just asking, was he a person before the war?
He was.
Before he became a paladin?
Every one of them was. They all get to choose their own path. They chose to become part of my powers. Frankly, he was a troubled man. He believed himself to be stronger than everyone else, believed that if he gained my powers, he could continue being the strongest there ever was, and the only thing he asked in kind for the powers that I gave him was that I never let him stop fighting. So I let him
So
battle whenever there is one.
if there is no war, what happens to him?
He will either go completely dormant until next battle arises, or he'll kill himself. Frankly, I don't even know if he has the mental ability to kill himself. I have not communed with him for a very, very long time.
Ah, so you don't communicate with your paladins?
No. Shar communicates with her necromancers all the time. I use my paladins as I use my power. When I need it, it's there. Nothing more, nothing less.
Interesting.
My paladins
Dude.
are and will forever be part of my power source. If I require them to go somewhere, there is naught on this earth that will stop them. However, I do not care past that. Who they were or who they are does not interest me. Only what they can do.
Interesting. You definitely probably have likely two's enough then. Considering there's been so many wars with just the one, haven't needed to have another paladin.
The rest of my paladins are off wandering somewhere or another. They often choose their own paths and go wherever they need to. They simply heed the call. I've not had to call on them for quite some time. So many of them are likely wandering. Some of them die, some of them don't. Some have too much power to die. Some don't, and they just die, and the power comes back to me, and I choose another champion.
I remember that. Shar brought up that you guys would decide whether or not I'm one of your champions.
Aye.
Or necromancer.
We are still undecided about your future. You are a curious case, one that we simply do not understand. But if you wish to take it, my power is there for you. If you wish to take her power is there for you. However, that does mean that you will have under the same caveat that the other paladins, necromancers have. When you become part of us, we become a part of you. And that will never change.
And what if I choose neither?
Then you simply die as a mortal.
What if I choose a different god?
He raises his eyebrow.
Well, I mean, I know it's not just you two. I mean, clearly the town of Mercy was a whole different god than you guys.
If you chose to
So,
pick another god, it would not matter. If that
you'd
god
get
was
jealous.
powerful enough, if the god was powerful enough to stand against me or Shar, we would eradicate it from existence.
I'm sure you'd be jealous of losing your best friend. There's someone to talk to.
His eyebrow continues
very
to
lonely.
raise.
I'm sure it's lonely in this empty space I had to have you change for once.
I do not think you properly comprehend the differences between our lifespans.
Well, yes, there's a difference between lifespans. I know this. I'm in love with a human. I know I'm going to outlive him. But I also know it gets lonely. I may be just a speck to you, but that speck has been talking to you and keeping you company through the last 22 years.
He looks at you with slight confusion. Loneliness
Anyway.
is a concept that humans developed because they are social creatures, as well as most other races. Gnomes and goblins specifically very rarely ever feel loneliness. Why would I
True.
feel it?
You would feel it through your powers that are connected to the people you give them to and when they return to you. Just as much as
Only
auras are
Shar-
affected.
Only Shar feels the emotions of those that she has given her powers to. I remove that.
Such a cold old man.
You do not need emotions in order to feel a war, child. Paradise is not felt upon the emotions of those that rides upon it. Paradise is filled and fueled by those who have sought to find it and prepare it.
What
If you wish for
happens
emotions.
What happens to you and Char without war?
One of us
If you have no
wins.
more pawns, what happens?
We wait a couple eons.
That's it? You just wait till you can persuade and control other people?
We wait until we form a new army. We throw the army. One army wins. That god prevails. Again,
Okay.
child, this war has gone on for a blink of our eyes. This is more of a game than it is a battle to us. This is more of an entertainment that we give ourselves for no reason besides we can.
How is Grampy?
The gnome with a serious drinking issue?
Yes, that's somehow still alive.
He's breathing. Beyond that, I do not know, nor do I care.
Hi.
If you wish for
Well, don't
emotions,
have-
child, talk to Shar.
No, I know. Nothing I'm not used to, old man. Well, don't have too much fun in your pond. And she like looks at the water.
Weirdly enough, it's almost like a mirror reflecting beneath you. Wherever you step is like a puddle ripples, but it feels like glass.
Quite the nice scenario. I don't understand how you could be so cold and want to play around with war when you can just enjoy having flickers of whatever you want here.
Boredom crosses even a god's mind eventually.
Boredom is a feeling, which means you do have feelings.
You are such an
You-
interesting specimen. It really is such a shame your life ends so soon.
Well, enjoy it while you still can. And then Ellie's gonna wake up.
Such a dick.
Ellie's unamused. He was being a dick first.
I was gonna
He
say,
is always
you-
a dick.
I was gonna
I
say,
know,
you
but with
understood.
with what she's heard lately in the past 48 hours alone, what he's said that whole time, no.
Yeah, he's not a nice person. He is a very cold-hearted person. But anyways, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. We're going to get on to Wally meeting the Elder Paladin, who may or may not even have a mind, on the next episode, which we're actually going to possibly be doing next week Friday. It's either going to be next week Friday, or it's going to be 2 weeks from now, and then every Friday. We're changing up the schedule a little
it'll
bit.
either be the 17th, sorry.
You're
Love
good.
you, honey. It'll either be the 17th or 24th, but we will not be doing anything on the 3rd of March.
Yeah, I have to get my
Just so
wisdom
everyone
teeth
knows.
removed. So maybe that
How's
entire
that
weekend. Yeah, I gotta get my bottom left one is at a 90-degree angle and the bottom right one's at a 45-degree angle. So that's gonna be fun. But hopefully I won't take that entire weekend to recover. I actually made it so I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to recover before I go to work. So hopefully I'll be able to recover fairly quickly from the 3rd all the way to the 7th. We may or may not have any streams. Depends on whether or not I am actually physically capable of speaking at that point in time. But we shall see. But eventually we're going to be shifting into a every week stream. We're also going to be adding the what was it called?
The
my brain's
novelty
blanking.
read.
Novelty reading. Thank you. Novelty reading where
There
we're
you go.
doing Half-Full Boyfriend.
Saturday.
We're going to be changing to Saturdays
Boyfriend.
weekly. Yes, we're going to be
Mark your
changing to
calendars.
Saturdays
What's
weekly.
loathing?
Mark your calendars for dating pigeons on Saturday. This is the most
Yeah.
important
Yes.
part. This is the most
It's
important
gonna be
thing.
the final.
We're either going to be
part, and it
finishing
makes
it
me
this
so
week,
sad.
or we're definitely going to be finishing it next week. We're not entirely sure yet because got to get through everything. But we're likely going to go from 2 to 4 or 2 to 5, depending on how our schedules is looking. We're really testing the waters with some of our new streams, so we're going to be trying our best to make everything as good as possible. So.
Every single time that we play Hatoful Boyfriend, you're always like, "This is the last one. We're finishing
It's my
Hatoful
guess.
Boyfriend. We never finish Hatoful Boyfriend."
I have 5 seconds.
Apparently,
Oh no, what do I have
if
5
I
seconds
state it,
for?
it will never end. Anyway,
I know what I have 5 seconds for. What do I have 5 seconds for?
what?
Oh my goodness,
End of
hydration!
the universe.
Hold on. Number 2, huh? Number 3, oh, it's getting cold.
What's going on?
Number 4. Oh, Jesus Christ, it's
I
cold.
just redeemed five hydrations in a row.
Oh,
It's been an
fucking hell, it's
ongoing
cold.
joke I've had with
Oh,
them
brain
occasionally.
freeze.
I love it.
Oh,
You have 5
all right.
seconds to
Oh, it's
quintuple the price of that redeem. And then I
Oh,
just
boy,
dump
it's
all
cold.
of them on him.
Oh, okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll see all of you fine folks on the next episode. And as always, if you guys want to see more up-to-date information on when we're going to be releasing, or when we're going to be, God, I'm so cold.
Okay.
When we're going to
If you guys
be,
want more information, check out our socials. They will be in the Twitch chat where we will update about our schedules, when videos are
Specifically
posted
Discord.
on our YouTubes. Yes, specifically on Discord, in the Discord events. There are constantly up to date, and there are jokes inside those events, so be sure to check those out because the Menagerie Mother puts a lot of effort into it.
yeah.
Either way, I hope you guys have a wonderful night and have enjoyed the story as it will continue either next week or the following week. Good night.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye, Ferris thing.
Auf Wiedersehen.